That's beautifully struck. No race away. There's a long square as well. As soon as you beat the infield.
Yeah, nice from Rossington. We know he is such a powerful, explosive type of batter, but this was just good timing. And as you say, Daggers, that long square, it can only help speed the ball up.
Huge appeal and given. Successful this time. It's the third time Bottleman's tried to attempt the innovation, the little ramp over the leg side. It was unsuccessful twice, and the third time Hogan strikes.
Square of the wicket, really, going over onto the offside. The first one that we saw, we thought was just contact outside the line. This one, Alex Wharf thinks that's good enough.
Oh, it's high. Perfect opportunity for two, and taken. Easily taken in the deep. It's Nisa with the safe hands, and it's Hogan's second wicket. His excellent T20 season continues.
Made the move from Northants, looking to clear the long boundary, the square leg boundary. Comfortable catch.
Shouts of catch it should be, and is. Easily done. Such a tame dismissal. Maybe a little bit of extra bounce off the surface. It was caught high on Pepper's bat, safely pouched by Dan Douthwaite at mid-on.
3 wickets in the power play, and Pepper, we saw it the ball before, he was keen to try and target that leg side boundary straight.
Runs in first class. Short this time, too short and dealt with. We haven't seen too many really short deliveries. It just holds up. It might have been a slow ball. We'll have to look again.
So he can access that shorter ball. Look how that left leg just opens up. That is his strength. Look. And that little flick through the leg side. He's very good at it. 6 and a 4, and a good over in the end for Essex. 12 runs from it, 29 for 3.
Just the length. A bit too short, then overcompensated and a little too full. Helped on its way, goes very quickly. That will go for 4. That is the what we were talking about earlier. So short, straight, just using the pace nicely.
Just shown how big the boundaries are square. Once you get it straight.
Gone a long way. Gone up a long way, gone a long way. They've just been building the partnership. Now it's time to go. Critchley goes again. He looks a good player tonight.
He's coming down. I won't give it away. It's not fair. Teams are listening. And something just gives it away that he's coming at you. But he's a good timer of the ball. When I say straight down the ground.
Oh, well, he'll feel he missed out there. Oh, he still gets a boundary. I think he was thinking 6, but he gets 4. He'll take that.
Oh, it goes big down the ground. That goes all the way. And that's what we've been talking about. The straight boundaries here are very, very short. It's an excellent shot.
Decided. And he knows as well, he says.
Slightly wider this time. Just wonder if that's wrong-footed. Short third there. They were slow to react. Either way, though.
The width was on offer, but the length as well.
Edge taken. That's a good catch. As well as a thick outside edge. As we were just talking, this partnership was good for Essex, but it's just been broken.
Dan Douthwaite going round the wicket to the left-hander, just opening the body a little bit with the left leg going down the line of leg stump and playing away from him. Very sharp catch behind the sticks.
And the shot's a catch, taken again. No, 2 wickets in quick succession for Glamorgan. They've been very, very good in the field with the ball.
And he's removed both of the players who had that very strong 50-run partnership.
This could be out. He wanted the 2. There was a slight moment of hesitation. Sam's coming back for the second. He's put in the full-length dive from where we were.
Well, I always defer to you, the fielder. But I was with you. Yeah, absolutely. It was a brave, well, stupid second run, to be perfectly honest, because this is the shorter side of the ground towards the pavilion. It was hit firmly. who's going quickly. Nisa was very swift across the turf.
Oh, edge taken. 2-in-2 for Glamorgan. Really, now Essex in a lot of bother.
Good delivery, decent length, bit of tentative. No real foot movement from Harmer, just off at the edge of the bat and taken by Cook.
Has he got enough off this? I don't think he has. Should be out, is out. Nijar decided that he wanted to go after Nisa.
They've got a conditions that maybe just doing a little bit with the seam movement, but the lengths have been terrific. And again, they're hitting that hard length and getting rewarded.
Has he got this in the gap? He has. The only poor delivery we've probably seen tonight from Dan Douthwaite is his last one of his spell. 18 overs gone, the 100 is up, 100 for 8 Essex. Michael Nisa into the attack. Does he get enough of it? No. So Allison decided that he was trying to go straight, and it's a simple catch in the end for the experienced Michael Hogan.
And rather ball in hand or in the field in support. And they won't let each other down very often. Simple enough catch.
Still happy just to flick, but he gets it in the gap. So a boundary to start. It's a good way to start. Can they get to 120?
Clip the ball leg side, very strong bottom hand. That's one of his stronger areas. Tom Wesley, and they finish.
Full and wide, Wesley will just get an outside edge and they'll only pick up one. What a performance from Michael Hogan and all the seam bowlers tonight. He finishes his spell, 4 overs, 3 for 21, and Essex get to 113 for 9 off their 20 overs.
Picked up, fielder in the deep, early breakthrough. Not game over yet by any means. Early wickets essential, early wickets got. Skipper goes.
And this is a great start. Daniel Sams down the leg side, flick off the legs. Nice, simple catch as well.
That slip in place now. Little over pitch, what a shot. Yeah, what a shot. Thumbs up from Michael Nisa, who's going, yeah, more of that, please, because that'll just calm down the dugout.
Spoken about anything slightly over pitched, he punished here at Sophia Gardens.
Lovely shot, lovely shot. Talking about Marnus Labuschagne, but Sam Northeast there just finding the gaps.
Surpassed what Essex were on in their power play right at the end of it. They were 17 for 3, so going along nicely.
It goes back of the hand as well. So it's handy to have at least 2 slower balls.
Finds the gap, goes quickly for 4. Just a variation, I think it was intentional, just trying to mix up the length. Sam Northeast looks in good touch, 18 from 14.
Get it that far in front of square. Sam Northeast played very still, pivoted on that back foot.
Down.
Beautifully played, and good piece of timing, and to add insult to injury, Paul Walter slips and goes through to the boundary.
Yeah, it should have been stopped.
Bowling hard, great watching.
All mix up, should be out. Close. Does he get back? Labuschagne, I think this is close.
Absolutely, you wonder why these players are so good.
Catch it, catch it.
Shouts of catch. They were interested for a while, but it's just evaded the fielder.
Yeah, both sides just using their resources slightly differently. Think of Nisa and Hogan, Douthwaite, Wheel.
That's a very, very good shot down the ground. That's the biggest one of the evening so far from Sam Northeast. Straight, yes, it's short, but that has gone a long, long way.
But he's played enough to know that that is an excellent option here. Good use of the feet, and it is short, straight, and he knew straight away. 33 years of age.
Well, this has gone a long, long way as well. And now Kieran Carson is in on the action.
Kieran Carlson. He hasn't quite found his touch yet. That's about the best of it so far. His fluency hasn't quite been there. I think he's one to just look out for.
Oh, straight through. And Essex have got the breakthrough they've been looking for. And it's Critchley, first wicket for him this evening. Much, much needed for Essex.
His most likely wicket takers. I'm surprised he took him out earlier. And this time he's brought him back in. Good work from behind the stumps.
Yeah! Bolden played on, bottom edge. Najjar strikes. The dangerous northeast, who's played so nicely, a run of ball 44, has to depart. Probably a little too late for Essex.
Bottom edge, drags it on, tries to stay leg side and cut it away. Disappointment for northeast. A wicket here. Will he look to be aggressive? Hit him over mid-off, mid-on. Exactly. Fields up. The gamble was on. Why not? Release the pressure. Maximum.
The question was answered in imperious fashion.
Catch it, catch it, catch it!
Goes again, not as cleanly struck this time. But I think the job has pretty much been done. The 100 has been brought up, 4 overs remain, 100 for 4.
Whether it's that hamstring, but he's just decided to tee off. You can see that right hamstring.
Have some of that. That's gone a long way. Longest part of the ground as well. Diagonally here as Sophia Gardens. Cook getting in on the act.
Deep in his crease, baseball style. Smashed.
What a strike that is. Slow ball from Sams. Cannoning into the side screen.
Fields up, slower ball in the slot. Short boundary.
No ball. And that is done. Done by no ball. Way over the batsman's head. A team way to finish the game, but Glamorgan don't care. Victory for them, 6 wickets, the margin. They get back to winning ways.
Against Glamorgan, that was the wobble, and they got over the line in that one. But since then, they've played really, really well. And with Mr. Donald sat to my left-hand side, obviously the last game against Kent at Canterbury on Friday night, bowlers did their job, and against Hampshire back in South London on Thursday night, that they just played very, very good cricket. So yeah, but we all know in T20 cricket, if someone has a good day out, then and then they can win it for their side. So I'm pretty sure they'll be focused on trying to make it 5 out of 5.
Yes, it's a very big welcome to the BBC commentary box for the first time this season to the Hampshire and former Glamorgan batter Aneurin Donalds. Very good afternoon to you, Aneurin. Your boys victorious in the rain last night?
Yes, it was good to get over the line. We've had a bit of a slow start, and as mentioned by our friend Churchy here, we felt the full brunt of the Surrey All-Star 11 a few nights before, so it was nice to get off the mark, and yeah, hopefully we can get on some sort of roll here.
So, to run through the sides for you, Glamorgan lineup, as they did in Friday night's defeat at Somerset. Lloyd, Northeast, Labuschagne, Carlson, Byram, Chris Cook, Douthwaite, Nisa, Wheel, Sisodia and Hogan. And Mr. Church, perhaps you'd like to deliver the visiting 11.
Well, one change for Surrey, and Dan Moriarty will play his first game in the competition this summer. So no Dan Worrell for Surrey. So Jason Roy, Will Jack, Sam Curran, Laurie Evans, Jamie Overton, Sunil Narain, Jordan Clark, Chris Jordan, Jamie Smith, Dan Moriarty and Reece Topley. Still no Kieran Pollard. He didn't play on Friday night either. A minor knee niggle that was being rested as a precaution on Friday night and not available today. But I was saying to you both. When I watch him out there in warm-ups, I never know whether he's playing or not, because his warm-up is exactly the same as if he is or isn't playing. Just sort of strolls around with his hands in his pockets. But but no Mr. Pollard this afternoon. But good to see Dan Moriarty, the left-arm spinner, getting his first game of the competition.
So there you are, you have the lineups. The weather, well, it is grey, I'm afraid, and decidedly cool, and that has put people off from attending because it is a very sparse attendance at Sophia Gardens today. Unfortunately, with the football starting at 5 o'clock, this game was brought forward by half an hour, but that hasn't quite been enough to attract the crowd on this sort of weather. May well have done had it been sunny, as Glamorgan take the field in their navy and daffodil gold, and Surrey in the teal shirts, or duck egg blue, or whatever you're calling it these days, Church.
It's still officially duck egg blue.
There we are.
Yeah, still officially duck egg blue. So if you ever want, as I always say, repaint your kitchen or bathroom in duck egg blue, get hold of one of those shirts and take it into your local paint store. We're all set to go with Michael Hogan getting ready to bowl this first over, bowled beautifully against Surrey. What are we, a couple of weeks ago, was it now? Back in South London. It does seem like a long time ago. It probably wasn't. And it will be Jason Roy on strike, yet to really get going in the competition. Jason Roy, he's had some starts, but hasn't really gone on. Will Jack's couple of 50s for him so far. And Surrey stuck in by Glamorgan. And apparently there's a game of football on later on today. I was told as I was coming up the M4 today. Somebody told me there was a game of football a bit later. But fingers crossed a few more come down and have a watch of this, because they're two very good sides going head to head here. I think we're just waiting for the clock to tick round, and then we'll be ready to go. So as I say, Roy is the man on strike. Captain David Lloyd is in there at slip. Chris Cook with the gloves, of course, for Glamorgan. Here we go then, Michael Hogan with our first ball of the game over the wicket to Jason Roy, who's turning this beautifully timed into the leg side. The chase is on for Labuschagne. Wow, has he timed that, Jason Roy. It's a great slide from Marnus Labuschagne as well. What a great piece of cricket first ball, because beautifully timed that by Jason Roy, and a terrific bit of work from Labuschagne.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the start here. Obviously Hogan going to the first over. I thought we might have seen Prem. It's certainly a matchup we look to kind of exploit against Jason Roy early with that left arm off spin. I don't know if Prem's done it in the past, but I think they're looking at hopefully Hogs can get some movement out of this and get a nick behind to the
really interesting point. Obviously, Liam Dawson bowled him in your game a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
They then went to Canterbury, and George Linder opened up straight away to Jason Roy with the left arm spin. As Will Jacks waits for his first ball, as Hogan comes in over the wicket to him, and beats him on the outside. Now there's a little bit of movement there for Michael Hogan. That's a genuinely good delivery to Will Jacks first up, and that'll be encouraging for the Glamorgan seamers.
Yeah, I think it's the same pitch they played on the other night, and it didn't look particularly easy. So I'm sure Hogs will be looking for a few more early wickets. As he likes to say, there's a bit of life left in the old dog yet. I think they're all crying out for one more year, but it's great to see Hogs back with a white ball in his hand and doing things we know he can.
And he bowled beautifully the other evening against Surrey as Hogan in, right arm over the wicket. Will Jacks using his feet, looking to work that leg side, hits the pad, rolls straight back up the pitch, and Hogan does the fielding off his own bowling. It's a gloomy old day down here in Cardiff. We'll keep our fingers crossed, though. I must admit, I looked at the weather forecast last night and thought absolutely no hope of getting a game of cricket in. So I'm delighted that we've got underway at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it seems to have slid back a bit later on, but I said the visuals here aren't too great, but we shall see. Hopefully there'll be a game in it.
Floodlights are on. We're actually playing a floodlit afternoon game of T20 cricket this afternoon. As in over the wicket comes Hogan, and forward goes Jacks, driving, thick inside edge. This will run away for 4. I don't think Sodia will get to that. Over the boundary rope. He's on the edge of the circle there at fine leg. Thick inside edge from Will Jacks. And that whistles off to the boundary rope for 4. And Surrey in this first over, moving on to 7 without loss.
Yeah, Hogs with a very fashionable field at the minute, with the deep point out. It seems to be kind of favoured a lot of teams at the minute. That third man tends to come in the ring, and they give up the nick and try and split the field a little bit here. So a deep square and a deep backward point with a big gap in mid wicket. So I'm sure Jaxie will be looking get into that gap again.
Jax waits again with that bat raised as Hogan's into him, and forward goes Jax. Good delivery again from Hogan, right on the money. All new graphics on the scoreboard. Away to our right, Mr. Webb. Those are rather funky. I've just seen the new sort of font. A new font this year on the scoreboard away to our right hand side.
Font of all knowledge.
Yes, I like that. That's a lovely. I don't know which font it is, but a lovely font.
It's changed from last year.
Yes, it has. Very nice. Very nice. As Hogan in over the wicket he comes once again, and Jax looking to work that leg side, just held on him a touch, rolls away into the offside, out to cover it goes. End of the first over, and Surrey 7 without loss. Roy has 3, Jax has 4. And well, as everybody knows now, with this Surrey batting lineup, they keep coming at you, don't they?
Absolutely. It seems very fluid as well. I think you've got Jamie Smith on paper down at 9, who's a pretty handy player himself. So I think the guys can come out in a pretty random order here. So we'll expect a few guys to float around. But certainly from the start there, Hose, I think if they can hit the middle of the wicket hard, these Glamorgan seamers, it seems to be a little bit tricky. So it'll be interesting to see what the score and what the par score here is today.
Yes, it's the same wicket that was used on Thursday night for the victory over Essex by 6 wickets when Essex could only manage 113. As it'll be Michael Neser to open up from the Cathedral Road end here on BBC Sport Online and on the Glamorgan website as Hogan strikes Roy on the pad. Neser strikes Roy on the pad and the ball rolls out on the offside. And there's no run. Michael Neser with an economy rate of 7.2 so far in the competition, 4 wickets to his credit. Hogan has 12 wickets before today and an economy rate of 7.1, so they've been very much leading the way for Glamorgan's bowlers, the experienced Aussie pair, as Neser is in to bowl, and Roy has a dabble at that one, I think, trying to run it down to third man, but getting nothing on it.
Yeah, there seems to be plenty of movement there again. It seems like the white Kookaburra ball has actually done a little bit up top in a lot of games across the country so far. So I don't think you're going to see anything too funky from the Glamorgan seamers. It's going to be very much hit the top of the stumps and let the ball do the work here.
Voice of Aneurin Donald, whose Hampshire side will be here on Friday evening. 7 without loss then in the second over. Gloucestershire here on Tuesday evening. Glamorgan with a run of home fixtures. As Neser is into bowl and driven by Roy up to wide mid-off, but it'll just be the single as Dowthwaite doesn't collect cleanly anyway. 8 without loss.
First impressions are that Surrey might have to work this one out because there is a little bit of movement there, isn't there? And as you say, it was a low-scoring game the other night. I'm not sure you're going to be able to just stand there and smack it to all parts.
It's not your oval bish bash bosh here, Churchy.
No.
One for the purists.
Yes.
Neser who will Jax, both batters on 4 not out. Neser bowls, and that's run away off the pad down to fine leg for 4 runs. I think it was off the pad. No, a bit of batter involved, an inside edge. And Jax picks up the boundary. Yeah,
I think he's going to shuffle around the crease a lot here. He tends to favour backing away and getting it over the offside, but I think with that mid-wicket gap still open with slip in, he's going to try and go the other way and try and make use of that big open field on the leg side.
Surrey up to 12 without loss as the pitch is slightly towards the pavilion side of the square. As Neser bowls and inside out over extra cover. That's big. Will it go all the way? Yes, it will. Up towards the dugouts, away to our left. It's the first maximum of the day, and Surrey race on to 18 without loss.
I believe that's a textbook Will Jack shot there, just lifted over extra cover with pretty much a check drive. That's really a favoured area, especially at the top of the order, and with the field up, it's very difficult to defend. So that's a good way for him to get going here, those 2 boundaries.
Yeah, lovely shot from Will Jax. I don't think he got all of it, but he just chipped it really for 6.
Neser in again to Jax, shorter ball, back of a length, run down to short third man, but there is no run available. 18 without loss after 2 overs are Surrey, having been inserted with Roy on 4, Jax on 14. You're listening to BBC Sport Online with myself, Nick Webb, Aneurin Donald and Mark Church.
Yeah, and just sort of to come for Surrey, Sam Curran at 3, Laurie Evans at 4, and then as you said, it's a very movable batting order, isn't it?
Tends to be the way these days.
So it's going to be Michael Hogan. No, it does. I'm just thinking for that Jamie Smith. If Surrey at some point did go 3 down very early, I think that's where Jamie Smith would suddenly just bump up the order and come in sort of in that glue type role if that happens, as Hogan to bowl the 3rd over, coming into Jason Roy, who's waiting for this and just opening the face and guiding it out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary as the throw comes in over the top of the stumps. It's an absolute joy to have you up here, because A, it's great to see you back playing, and B, I was really excited about hearing about all your runs in the championship this season, but unfortunately all I've had to hear about is your brother's 28 yesterday.
I know, so this is the story of my life,
fairly dull, I have to say.
Well, that's
but
not.
We've all heard about it. As in, over the wicket comes Hogan and pushed away by Jax out towards that sweeper on the cover rope again. They'll pick up another single, 1 more to the total.
Yeah, big win for my local club yesterday. Gavin the runs in the wickets, as he likes to tell everyone. I'm sure if you're on social media, you've seen it somewhere.
He was actually, I'll let you into a secret, when I arrived, he was stood outside the gate.
Probably
and as people arrived,
signing autographs,
shaking them by the hand and saying, "Now, have you heard about my 28 yesterday?" As in, over the wicket comes Hogan, and this is driven by Jason Roy up towards mid-off. Oh dear, it's got under Douthwaite, and that's away for 4. And I have to say, against Surrey, you can't afford to be doing things like that, because it just gets Jason Roy going, that, and struck up the ground, and Douthwaite dived, but sort of dived straight over the top of it. But that just gets Jason Roy moving. He's on to 9, and Surrey move on to 24 without loss.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there. Dan's a great athlete, so he moved really well to that ball, just snuck under him there. And as you said, J. Roy's now ahead of the rate here and gives him a little bit of breathing room for the next few balls.
It does, as he waits over his bat once more. As Hogan comes in over the wicket to Roy. Roy's driving again. Nice looking shot from Jason Roy. Doesn't get a run. And fielded in there at short extra cover by Sam Northeast, who again batted very well the other night against Surrey. Did Sam Northeast.
Yeah, it's good to see Sam across the bridge and into God's country. Obviously played a little bit with him at Hampshire, and he's a fantastic player in all formats of the game. So I think he's really enjoying life here, and good to get a go at the top of the order in the white ball for him.
Hogan's in again to Roy. Oh, Jason Roy inside edge. He's danced down the pitch and looked to swing that leg side. Big inside edge, and that flies down to the boundary rope for 4. Well, you need your moments in T20, and both Roy and Jax have had them. And Jason Roy is trying to put that in the pavilion, I think, and picks up another boundary, moves on to 13, 28 without loss.
I think that's the danger of this Surrey lineup. There's so many guys behind them that no one's going to hang around and see a few balls off. They really keep coming at you. So I should expect to see Jason Roy really capitalise on it here and keep trying to put the pressure on.
Well, a couple of times already, both Roy and Jax have run at the bowler, as in over the wicket comes Hogan, and Roy looks to work that leg side. Thickish edge, flies out to the sweeper on the cover rope again. 1 more to the total, 1 more to Jason Roy. I think Surrey will be pretty pleased with this start, because conditions aren't easy out there at the moment. We are playing a floodlit game of T20 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and 29 without loss. Roy has 14 and Jax has 15. Yes, he's away to our left-hand side. Is the other Donald, and as I say, he's told everybody.
A bit more presence than me,
yeah, he's told everybody about his 28 yesterday.
That's 28 more than I scored,
yes,
unfortunately.
28 more than I'd scored.
We didn't want to bring that up, Webby, but
yes,
we've all been there.
I'm willing to admit to my failures. It was bloomin' Parky playing yesterday. I was playing about 300 metres away from here, and it was a 2-sweater day in June, believe it or not. It's James Wheel then to continue in the to come into the attack from the Cathedral Road end, as this is clipped over mid-wicket by Roy, and he'll get 4 more just above the leaping Kieran Carlson. And Glamorgan needed someone of the height of an Iron Donald in there. Might have had a sniff.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Glamorgan continuing the split field here. Obviously with Jason Roy, he's going to come pretty hard and try and attack you down the ground, especially with Wales just angle in. I won't be surprised if they go to too deep on the leg side and try and stem the flow a little bit here. There's still that deep point and a deep square here.
So 33 for no wicket, and we're still at the start of the 4th over, and Glamorgan have stuck pretty much with seam in the power play so far this season, as that's hoiked away down towards square leg by Roy. This time he'll just pick up a single as Marnus Labuschagne does the fielding. 34 without loss as Roy moves on to 19 not out.
It certainly seems like Glamorgan have their set way in the power play this year. They haven't really gone away from the seamers. The same few guys seem to be bowling very similar overs this year. Again, interesting to see that Prem, after doing such a great job in the power play over the last couple of years, hasn't had an over or two here, but they seem to be committing to this plan so far.
Wheel into Jax, who pushes that one on the leg side. They'll run the first one hard. No, there's never going to be a second, with Carlson pelting in off the mid-wicket boundary. 35 without loss as the floodlights beam out across Sophia Gardens. I mean, it would be borderline unplayable if the lights weren't on, I think.
It is gloomy out there. Sort of when I arrived and shouted at you, Mr. Webb, off the top of the balcony, it is gloomy out there. Need the floodlights on.
We do. Thankfully we have them available today as Wheel bowls to Roy on leg stump, trying to tuck him up, and played away to Carlson once more at deep mid-wicket. Single taken. 36 without loss. Pleasure to be on the county website with the video streams as well, as we haven't always been with the BBC during the course of the season, but still the case in Glamorgan, thankfully. 36 without loss. Jax on 16. Faces up to a Wheel. Racing in. Bowls just turned onto the leg side for another single. Both sides happy really to settle for the singles over the last couple of deliveries. If Wheel keeps it accurate, 37 without loss.
Yeah, it seems to be what they've gone to here, this deep mid-wicket and deep square. I feel like they're going to try and stem the flow here, Glamorgan. They're obviously pushing for early wickets on what seemed like a relatively tough wicket the other night, but Surrey got off to a great start here, almost 10 runs and over.
Last ball of James Wheel's first over. It's cost 8 so far, and Wheel bowls, and Roy swings it not entirely fluently away on the leg side for a single. 38 for naught after 4 are Surrey, having been put in by David Lloyd, and it's advantage Surrey so far.
I always think when they go to this tactic, which is the right one from Glamorgan, but Jackson Roy probably see it as a bit of a challenge. Even then, Jason Roy, that was a fairly full ball, and he's still trying to swing it leg side. So these two will sort of say to themselves, right, they've got the 2 men back, but actually, can we see if we can go over the top of them?
Yeah, that's very much the cat and mouse. Obviously, Glamorgan feel like they can try and tuck him up and stem that flow, but also as a batter, you kind of know where it's coming. So certainly, Jason Roy is not one to front away from a challenge, and he'll kind of be committing on that hit ball and trying to clear those 2 men out there. But he hasn't quite got a hold of one yet, but he's certainly looking for it out of the leg side.
Yeah, he's got to start again here. Nisa it is to bowl the 5th over to Roy, bowls him. And as I say, he's got to start. He's got a good one there from Nisa. He's just nipped it back between bat and pad. Defensive shot from Jason Roy. That looks a really good delivery from Nisa, because Jason Roy's just pushing forward, nip back, hit the top of the off stump, and Roy goes for 21. And Glamorgan will be happy to see the back of Jason Roy. And Surrey are 38 for 1.
Yeah, sometimes the simple things work. Another good ball at the top of off stump, even in T20 cricket, it's still effective, and there's not much Jason Roy could do there. It seemed like he played the right shot to the ball, but Ness has been in some great form across multiple formats this year, and seems to be a real asset to Glamorgan's side at the minute.
It looked a good one, that. It's sort of in T20 cricket, you don't often see a player just pushing forward to a good length ball with a solid looking defensive shot, and it just clips the top of his off stump. So yeah, he's just indicating there to Sam Curran, Jason Roy, that did nip back at him. So out comes the left-handed Sam Curran, who's been in wonderful form in the Championship and wonderful form in this T20 competition as well. His scores so far 36 against Glamorgan in that opening game, 6 against Gloucestershire, then 69 against Hampshire t'other night, and 43 against Kent at Canterbury.
Yeah, he's slowly snuck up the order over the last years, Sam, and now he's a real genuine all-rounder, and very much the sense of the term. He's such a great competitor, and being a relatively similar age and playing some age group stuff with him, it was never a surprise to see him kick onto this level, and you know, I think the best thing you could say about Sam is whatever level he plays, he really does rise to the occasion. So I'm sure he'll be hoping to get in here and give himself a chance and then explode like he has been doing the rest of the competition.
Yeah, and he just loves batting as well. He just loves playing cricket, Sam Curran. As Nisa comes over the wicket to the left-handed Sam Curran. His first ball is just turning this off his hip into the leg side. Quick singles taken. And that'll get Sam Curran up and running. He moves on to 1. Jacks comes on to strike on 17. And Surrey 39 for 1, having been stuck in by Glamorgan. We're into the 5th over of this game. And keeping my fingers crossed that at the moment the weather's okay. It's gloomy, but no rain at the moment, which is terrific stuff. As waiting is Will Jacks over his bat on 17 as Nisa's in. Jacks is bowled by Nisa in identical fashion to Jason Roy. It's a lovely piece of bowling again from Nisa. I think that one's hit the top of the middle stump. And just again nipping back off a good length. And Will Jacks there has got a good one. And Jackson Roy going in identical fashion. And good bowling from Michael Nisa. And that will bring Laurie Evans out to the middle.
Yeah, that's a huge wicket for Glamorgan. Obviously feeling under the pressure after the first 4 or 5 overs there, but to have 2 new batters in on what looks like a wicket that's still getting some movement for the seamers, they'll be really happy with that. So now it's about who can kind of pull the next punch here.
Identical dismissals. As I said, I think Jason Roy's one hit the top of the off stump. I think that one hit the top of the middle stump from Michael Nisa. Not a lot you can do about that really in T20 cricket. Great bowling from Nisa, but there is definitely something there. There is definitely something there from the river end. There really is. And Will Jacks will walk into the dressing room, sit down next to Jason Roy and go, I've got exactly the same one that you did. Identical delivery. So, Laurie Evans, very experienced T20 player, of course. Here's Laurie Evans. And he's going to just have to be a little watchful here now. But great stuff from Michael Nisa and his captain, and Glamorgan will be delighted with this. As 39 for 2, Surrey. Nisa into Evans, gone the other way this time, beats the outside edge. Wow. So Laurie Evans has seen Roy and Jacks bowled by balls that have nipped back. That one's gone the other way and beaten his outside edge. Beautiful bit of bowling. And we've suddenly got a test match on our hands here, Mr. Donald.
Looks even better on replay, these balls. Some great skill shown by Nessa here. Really brought Glamorgan back into this power play here. As we were talking about earlier as well, it'll be interesting to see who's padded up on the sidelines. Whether we start to see some flexibility in the Surrey batting order.
Over the wicket he comes once again to Laurie Evans. Shout for LBW, looking to flick round that front pad was Laurie Evans. Just bobbles out towards short mid-wicket. Sam northeast comes up to do the fielding, but yeah, that's just lovely skills from Michael Nisa. And as I say, Laurie Evans would have been watching all of this, and he's seen Roy get bowled on the inside, he's seen Jacks get bowled on the inside, and then his first delivery goes the other way. As Evans stands with that bat raised, forward he comes. That's well played. What an over that is from Nisa as he just pushes that one, Laurie Evans, out towards extra cover. 2 wickets in the over, both openers. A single from Sam Curran. 5 have gone, and Surrey are 39 for 2, Mr. Donald.
Yeah, and Hogan's back on here, so they're really committing up top here for another wicket. Using up a lot of overs of their seam here, but not surprising after that last over from Nessa, which was pretty brilliant in itself.
As I say, it suddenly turned into a test match. It really did. And if you haven't heard, England beats New Zealand by 5 wickets
what a result
before the new ball was taken this morning. And I was reading that due to the fact it was all done inside the 20 overs, those that have bought tickets got a refund as well. So I think everybody ended up quite happy today. But terrific innings from Joe Root. 10,000 test runs, 100 in the 4th innings as well. And a nice innings from Ben Folkes as well to get them over the line.
Good to see.
So Michael Hogan swaps ends and he's into bowl to Curran, who drives off a thickish inside edge out towards mid-wicket. He was looking to play a bit straighter than that, but picks up the single for it. 40 for 2, Surrey, in this the 6th over, the last one of the power play. So Surrey with what looks like a respectable number of runs on the board in the power play, but Glamorgan with a couple of wickets, so something to encourage both sides.
Just say a quick hello to Mr. Vikram Solanki, who's listening in. of course, has only led the Gujarat Titans to the first IPL trophy success.
Hogan bowls, that's clipped off his legs and well stopped by Sisodia in the circle at short fine leg. Just the single there for Curran, 41 for Evans rather, 41 for 2. So that'll be worth a few bob to him, and good luck to him.
Amazing job, amazing job.
It's no T20 blast.
I'm now a Gujarat Titan.
41 for 2. Hogan into the left-handed Current, still a slip in place, his edge down towards third man, it'll go through for 4. Now Byram up in the circle at short third man, flung himself to his left, but it was a genuine edge, it wasn't anything near a chance, and it's run away up to the River Taff end for 4. These are the runs that you can accumulate in the power play, 45 for 2. Before everyone disperses far and wide in a few balls' time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the bowling lineup from here on in. Obviously 5 overs out of Hogan and Nessa up top. It's going to leave them a little bit short at the end, so I'm sure you're going to get a lot of Douthwaite coming through the middle, and potentially even some from David Lloyd, I think, if they feel like it's moving around a bit.
Next delivery from Hogan to Curran is defended on the offside, and there's no run.
I'm just watching. Hogan went very wide on the crease there, and umpire just checking where his back foot was, because that back foot was in danger of actually going outside that crease on that delivery.
Rare that you get Hogan in trouble with the officials. 45 for 2. Hogan bowls, and that's dabbed down towards short third man. Single taken for Curran, 46 for 2. Curran on to 7. 1 ball left of the power play then here on BBC Sport Online, also via the Glamorgan and Surrey websites. So still very grey, featureless skies overhead. Let's hope the rain holds off, not only till 5 but till 7 for the football as well. Wales against Ukraine live on BBC Radio Wales from 5. Well, kick-off's 5 as that's dabbed down by Curran off his glove, and it almost rolled back past the stumps. So that is the end of the power play, as Phil Steele on the public address informs us it's 46 for 2, Curran 7, Evans 1, the men out, Roy Boldnisa 21, Jax Boldnisa 17.
Yeah, I keep hearing it. As I say, on my way up, I noticed that there was possibly a football game on this evening. 7 o'clock then. 7 o'clock this evening. Live, 5 o'clock, is it?
5 o'clock,
yes.
Yeah.
Straight off the T20.
Straight off the back of this.
Straight off the back of this, so they'll
Couldn't
stick it
ask
up
for much
in the screens, but not with the weather, the crowd that Glamorgan had hoped for.
Be lively tonight in Cardiff.
Yeah, just a bit. I walked through the town centre to get here, and it was looking pretty colourful already.
Bucket hats are go.
Absolutely, yeah. Very much on brand at the minute.
The red wall.
So Dan Douthwaite comes into the attack, and Surrey 46 for 2, and can get men outside that circle now. So got the fine leg, deep backward square, a long on, sweeper on the cover rope, and a third man. Douthwaite then right arm round the wicket to Sam Curran, who drives out towards that sweeper on the cover rope. That's Nisa out there, and they'll just take a single as the throw comes in. 1 bounce straight over the top of the stumps and into the gloves of Chris Cook. They will have to take a little bit of time here, though, won't they? Because as we've seen, the ball's nipping around a touch.
Yeah, I think
it's going to
be pretty orthodox cricket, I'd suggest, here for the next few overs. I think Dan's just going to again run in and try and hit the top of the stumps with a pretty regulation field. So it's going to be interesting to see what route Surrey take. I said, with so many guys hiding behind them in that batting order, it's you haven't got too much time to hang around.
Douthwaite's in, and Evans is looking to cut this, beats the edge. So Laurie Evans, they're looking to go through backward point. It doesn't look straightforward batting at the moment. I'm just watching who's coming down the steps from the Surrey dressing room, because it's quite a long way to come from the dressing room to the dugout. That's Sunil Narain with all his bits and pieces, as goes wider of the crease this time. Douthwaite, that's turned by Laurie Evans out towards deep mid wicket, and they will pick up a single. One more to the total, 48 for 2, because I think it's fair to say Sunil Narayan will play one way and one way only.
That's all he knows.
We've seen a bit of it from him. Well, you saw a bit of it the other night.
We saw far too much, I think, Churchy.
Dear me. He's an extraordinary player, isn't he? Because he just goes out there, picks the bat up and swings. And as round the wicket again comes Douthwaite, and this is turned off his toes by Sam Curran. Down towards Hogan. A little misfield as Hogan's trying to get that in one hand to let it go. And it enables Sam Curran to pick up 2. He's on to 10, and that brings up the 50 for Surrey. And this is the 7th over. 50 for 2 they are. Sam Curran has 10 and Evans has 2. Yeah, that was 52 off 23 balls with 5 4s and 4 6s for Narayan a couple of nights ago as Douthwaite round the wicket he comes to Sam Curran. Short one. That's well bowled and well played by Sam Curran. Just sways inside it. And that's a nice bit of bowling and very well played by Sam Curran.
Yeah, nice bit of bowling from Dan. I said he runs in and hits the wicket hard, and he's got a little bit of pace about him.
Started his career down at Surrey, of course.
He did, of course.
And
Yeah.
Douthwaite.
I think it's something we're going to see quite a lot to Sam. We found it was a bit of an area we felt like we could target at least for a dot ball, so I think he'll get a couple of short balls throughout this innings.
This one's on his hip and he's turning it away down towards Hogan. Down below us, they'll pick up another single. That's one more to the total, so tidy first over that from Douthwaite. And Sam Curran has 11, Evans has 2, 7 gone, and Surrey here 51 for 2, so 5 off that Douthwaite over. But yes, I left quite early this morning because I thought the traffic might be quite busy with Jubilee and the big football match, and it actually wasn't too bad. But you could tell already that people were arriving.
The Welsh do
a lot of people around, yeah.
The pubs are looking pretty full, and I think people have settled in ready for the long afternoon, so hopefully you got the BBC Wales Sports stream on ready to go.
Absolutely. I've had some memorable evenings in Cardiff, which I can't remember. Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone's been there once or twice. Interesting to see Prem come into the attack here. Again, Sam's very good against spin, and it's a matchup certainly you try and avoid when you can, but I think they're very confident in Prem's ability with the white ball.
So it's the left armer Sisodia, the left-handed Curran, who flicks the first ball of the over away to mid-wicket for a single. And you look for words to describe bowlers. You think slow left arm, he's not that slow in this form of cricket, and left arm spinner, well, not sure how many he turns that much in this form of cricket.
No, he knows his way of going about it. I think he's got his method down to a T, from quite an early age. So it's going to be good to follow Prem the next few years, especially in white ball. Interesting to see whether David Lloyd might get a bowl. He hasn't bowled much in this format, but I thought it might come out today.
So Sisodia bowls, down the wicket comes Evans, but drives sedately along the ground to long off. Single to Carlson up on the boundary. No, David Lloyd hasn't bowled at all this season in T20, which is surprising. And Glamorgan have had lots of options. So they've had Salter in the side previous to Friday, as that's clipped on the leg side by Curran.
Or dare I say it, is Marnus the next seam option?
I haven't seen him bowling seam yet. He's bowled...
I wouldn't put it past him.
Where I think 8 overs of spin so far in this competition, but has got a couple of first-class wickets with seam this season. Sisodia bowls, Evans drives that one through the covers, beautifully placed. The sweeper in front of the pavilion had no chance, and it's run away up towards the dugouts for 4 runs. Yeah, lovely shot.
Just as the pressure's building a little bit on Laurier there, he's played a fantastic shot. That's very much his style of play against the spinner, just backing away and giving himself a bit of room, and hits it all along the floor with the class he has past extra cover.
59 for 2. Next ball hit up to long off for a single. Carlson is again the fielder. 60 for 2 as Evans moves to 9 not out.
Broken his bat, Laurie Evans, I think, with that shot.
He's looking down suspiciously at it. It didn't sound quite right. 59 for 2. The board must have had that one up very quickly indeed. As Sisodia bowls and Curran steers it away on the leg side. Now it is 60 for 2. I was ahead of my time with Sam Curran 14 not out. Evans on 8 not out. And we are through 8 overs. And the first few were pretty busy, but it has slowed down a little bit.
I think Glamorgan will be pretty happy with this comeback after the first 4 overs. The Surrey boys came out pretty hot in that power play, which they always do, and I think they'll be quite happy for a couple of quiet overs here. I certainly like to think they'll be trying to take wickets throughout this middle block, but stemming the run rate a little bit here is a great start to doing that. Yeah,
just in that 5th over, Michael Neser bowling Jason Roy for 21, and then 2 balls later Will Jacks for 17. As Douthwaite comes into Sam Curran. This is the start of the 9th over. Sam Curran just forces this off the back foot. Here come the Laurie Evans bats. So he's going to nip off now and get another bat. It might take a while, this, because whoever's pulled down Worrell's 12th manning, I think, today. Now, it is a long, long way from that dugout to our left, up to the dressing room. He set off with 2 balls of the last over to go, did Dan Worrell, and he's just got there with the bats for Laurie Evans. It's a long old journey, isn't it?
It's a flight of stairs down, as an Aaron knows better than me, inside the pavilion, and then the steps down the outside as well. And sometimes if the pitch is towards the grandstand, it's another 100 metres on top of that.
It's a long way when you don't get many runs.
As Douthwaite comes in over the wicket to Laurie Evans with his new bat, and he's forward, playing this one straight back up the pitch. Good bowling from Douthwaite. Does the fielding off his own bowling, and there's no run.
Just looked like he jumped a bit wide of the crease again there. It's something we've seen throughout this innings from the Glamorgan seam bowlers. And again, just trying to run it back in and attack the stumps. I think the Roy and Jack's wickets are pretty much what they're going to be aiming to do throughout the innings with the ball.
Douthwaite's in again. Goes wide of the crease once more. That's on the hip of Laurie Evans. He's pulling this round the corner. It's Neser doing the fielding out there, so they'll only take the single. One more to Laurie Evans. Ripple of applause down below us. And Evans moves on to 9, 62 for 2. I have to admit, I was lucky enough to be at Lord's yesterday. And after a rainy start, the weather was lovely. Heck of an atmosphere there yesterday as well.
I wondered why you were busking outside the gates to get back into
Yes, exactly. As round the wicket once more comes Douthwaite, and that short pull by Evan Curran, apologies, and that's dropped by Carlson, but that's hit him very hard in there at short mid-wicket. Basically, it's taken him off his feet, and it goes down. Just checking he's okay. I think it's probably hit him in the chest, because Sam Curran absolutely nailed that, and Carlson's pretty close in there at short mid-wicket. I think it just hit him.
I'm glad Kieran's seen the funny side of it, as we're trying to hold in the giggles up here. Sam Curran's really latched onto that short one. It's gone pretty much straight into the centre of his chest and knocked him backwards.
Yeah, there was concern there for him until everybody realised he was okay, and then there was a little bit of giggling out there in the middle as well, but he's all right, thank goodness, because Sam Curran absolutely hammered that flat, and it just hit Kieran Carlson.
He's very much in on the one there as well, so he hasn't got too much time to react.
We saved 4, definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
I think rather than it being a chance, I think his chest saved 4 there.
No, it's a pretty good fielding outfit actually out tonight for Glamorgan. There's not too many guys they're carrying in the field at the minute.
Back of a length, and Sam Curran looking to run that one down to third man. Little inside edge, almost potted back onto his stumps, that one, but rolls back towards keeper Cook. But he's sort of looking at his right hand now, is Carlson, but it just whacked him in the middle of the chest.
I can see lots of strapping and taping and tubey grips on it already, but I'm not sure there's much you can do for the centre of his chest.
No, not at all. As round the wicket once more comes Douthwaite, driving his Sam Curran, ends up walking after that. Good delivery again from Douthwaite. I suppose the Surrey seams will be hoping it continues to do this, which it probably will. End of the over, and that is the halfway point for Surrey. 10 overs gone. Oh, apologies, 9 overs gone. We're not quite there yet. I'm one ahead of myself. 62 for 2, so 2 runs off a very good over that from Dan Douthwaite.
Yeah, he's hit the middle of the wicket hard there and done his job. Again, I think Prem's going to play a very important role. I should imagine the Surrey guys, after seeing the ball move about like it has off the seam, are going to come pretty hard here and try and capitalise. Again, with plenty waiting on the bench, I'm not sure we're going to see much hanging around from now on.
Sisodia bowls. Evans hits it hard down into the ground, and it bounces back to the bowler, and there's no run. 62 for 2 in the Cardiff gloom as Sisodia bowls, and Evans plays this through the offside. Single out to Neser on the cover boundary in front of the pavilion. And Surrey move on to 63 for 2. Approaching halfway, so 150-ish might be a decent score as Sisodia bowls. Curran a step or two down the wicket, but clips it out towards mid-wicket. And the throw from Labuschagne on the charge. Pick up throw, all one movement, ever keen. 64 for 2. Sisodia, left arm darts around the wicket. Bowls to Evans, who again steps down the track, but again plays it all along the ground up towards long on. Single taken as Hogan does the fielding down in front of us. In our media spot high in the Cathedral Road end, which gives us a decent chance of knowing what's going on, unlike the current Taunton BBC commentary position. Sisodia bowls, Curran hits that one away towards mid-wicket, and later go through for another single. 66 for 2.
Just starting to see this intent level go up a little bit here. Prem's doing very well to keep away from the arcs of both of these guys, but you can start to feel they're coming a little bit harder here.
There's a step or two down from both batters at the moment. As this time Evans steps away, gives himself room, but he's picked out the sweeper on the cover boundary. It's an over of singles there, delivered by Prem Sisodia, and at halfway, Surrey are 67 for 2. So as I say, I think an iron 150 is going to be decent.
Yeah, it looks to be in that ballpark. It's never looked easy throughout this innings after such a great start. I think Glamorgan will be very happy with the position they're in. However, as we talked about many times already tonight, there's a lot of firepower to hide behind you. So if they can keep them in check, I think Glamorgan will be pretty happy with how they've gone so far.
Yeah, and I think you're right. 150, I think it'd be tough chase on this, because we have seen it nipping around. Good over that as well from Prem Sisodia, because Laurie Evans and Sam Curran were definitely just trying to get after him, but kept it very tight. Those two just ticking it around with singles. Here's Marnus Labuschagne. So whatever he's doing, he's extremely watchable. Marnus Labuschagne. He's going to bowl his leggies here from the river end. Long off and long on in there. Laurie Evans on strike. The sweeper on the cover rope, and then 2 back in front of the pavilion. Away to our left-hand side on the leg side for Marnus Labuschagne. As over the wicket he comes to Laurie Evans. First one short. Laurie Evans has pulled it. Oh, and has been put down at long on. Well, Laurie Evans has picked the man out down there. Didn't get hold of it at all. And put down. And will be really disappointed with that. I think it's Salter down there.
Eddie Byram.
Byram, sorry. Putting that one down. But, oh dear. That really was an opportunity.
He always makes things happen though, Marnus, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Long hop almost did the trick there, as this one's clipped straight back up the pitch by Sam Curran. And Labuschagne does the fielding off his own bowling. Straight back up the pitch. But, yeah, Byram, I thought, had it. And then out came the ball onto the grass. As looking to turn this one into the leg side is Sam Curran. Little bit of bat onto pad. He picks up a single. One more to the total.
Yeah, so we were kind of waiting and watching to see if Marnus was going to come into the attack. Obviously, with the amount of seamers they got out there, it didn't necessarily need him to bowl tonight. So Lloydie's obviously taken this positive move, and it nearly paid off there. First ball.
Yep. As here he comes once again, Labuschagne. Over the wicket to Laurie Evans, who's sweeping. And that will go straight out to deep backward square. Fielding done by Sam northeast out there. So just another single, keeping it very tight at the moment, Glamorgan.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't feel like there's been a boundary for a little while. I think Sam and Laurie here only have one to their names each. The Glamorgan again would be very impressed with this. So the longer they can keep that going, the better.
Absolutely is. This one's turned leg side by Sam Curran, who's coming down the pitch to Marnus Labuschagne, who just fired it in. And he'll pick up another single, will Sam Curran. He moves on to 19, 71 for 2, sorry, as Labuschagne, good over so far. It's about to come in over the wicket, decides against it. Partnership's worth 32 between Evans and Sam Curran. Laurie Evans, now stumping. It's nicely bowled by Labuschagne. Laurie Evans looking to drive, went past his edge, and Cook, quick as a flash, whipped off the bails, but not out is the decision. And Marnus Labuschagne, a very good first over that from Marnus Labuschagne. 11 gone. And then Aaron Donald, I think at the moment, Glamorgan sort of, I'm just looking for the last 4 overs. Seems a while ago since that lovely drive from Laurie Evans through extra cover for 4. And they're keeping this very tight at the moment.
Yeah, they've been searching really hard for that next boundary, especially off the spin, trying to exercise all their options. But Glamorgan bowlers have held their lengths perfectly here. Whale back into the attack, so back to seam. I said it's very much dependent now on this lower order of Surreys and the death hitting here. The boundaries aren't too big. Even the square boundaries are very symmetrical tonight on a relatively large surface. So there's certainly boundaries out there to be had at the back end. But they're certainly stacking up with only 2 wickets down. There's a lot of firepower in the hutch here to come.
So James Whale, just 1 wicket so far for Glamorgan in this comp. Economy rate of 9s, and that'll suffer slightly as Curran has flat batted that one away through the covers for 4 runs, 75 for 2.
And there we go, that was the one they were looking for. Beautiful shot from Sam off the back foot here. Just cut it straight past extra cover. Just missing a little bit short there, Whale. It'll be interesting to see what angle he sticks with here. He pushes the ball very, very well across the left-handers, but it'll be interesting to see whether he comes around just to try and tighten things up and stop Sam from swinging his arms.
Not quite yet. He's staying right arm over the wicket. Curran moves on to 23 and make that 24 as he's played a very similar shot, but just a little bit squarer there, and Dan Douthwaite is in position on the cover point boundary. It's not great viewing from the grandstand today, possibly because the boundary is in about 25 metres or so, 30 metres maybe from the advertising hoardings, so few concentrated at this end, at the Cathedral Road end. No sunshine, sadly, for those at the river end, the usual sun trap. Wheel is in to bowl to Evans, who is caught at mid-wicket, flicking that away and straight into the midriff of Marnus Labuschagne, who held on 76 for 3.
Certainly felt like something was going to have to give there. You're obviously looking for the boundaries here as things have dried up these last few overs, so that's a great catch by Marnus at short mid-wicket there. It's come pretty hard, and Whale with the wicket there. Good changing bowling from David Lloyd, the captain.
Yeah, launched it away, but through to Labuschagne around about chest height. And the Glamorgan
Jordan Clark,
Australian star clung on. Yes, this is where Surrey get a bit flexible in the middle order, and it's a good sign really, because a lot of sides, I get the feeling that, well, you won't remember, but when this competition started, you never knew who was going to trot out the dugout yet, and some sides have gone a bit more predictable.
Yeah, I certainly think from Surrey's point of view here, I think they're going to be keen to keep this left-right hand combo. I think that's likely why they kept Sunil Narayan back and why Jordan Clark's jumped up in the order here. I guess there's a bit of a toss-up potentially between him and Jamie Overton. They're very much both power hitters down the order, so there's a bit of time to get in and get going here, but certainly not too long again with guys waiting and ready to go behind him.
As Wheel bowls, and that's edged down towards third man, but it'll just be the single as Sisodia runs round on the River Taff end and cuts it off. So Laurie Evans 14 took up 20 deliveries, which is not typical for him really.
No, he tends to play a bit of an anchor role in this Surrey team. You know, the slightly lower strike rate compared to the rest of the big guns around, and tries to hold that innings together, but it didn't quite pay off today.
Wheel bowls and Curran dabs it down to third man. So that's again fielded, and they'll go through for a single. So Clark back on strike, the new batter. Last ball of the 12th over. Floodlights bright here in Sophia Gardens, and they need to be. As Hogan comes up into the circle so that someone else can depart. No,
5 men in there.
5 in the circle. Wheel in to bowl, and Clark will have a single out towards square leg here. Labuschagne with the fielding. So 8 runs And 1 wicket off that over. Started with a boundary to Curran, but Wheel pulling it back nicely. 79 for 3 are Surrey after 12 overs here on BBC Sport Online.
Yeah, I think that 150 target we were talking about is going to be pretty difficult to get to. It's going to take some going. We're looking at roughly 9 and over now to get up to there. So it's going to be an interesting last period of the game here. Marnus with 1 more over a spin, which gives them a bit of flexibility with who they bowl towards the end here. A few overs left from everyone.
Good first over from Marnus Labuschagne. So 8 remaining for Surrey, 79 for 3 they are. Here on BBC Sport Online and the Glamorgan live stream, of course. If you looked out the window, you'd think we were playing this in January at the moment, wouldn't you? It's that gloomy. As in over the wicket comes Labuschagne. Oh, looking to drive. The googly was Jordan Clark, thick inside edge. Rolls away into the leg side. He'll pick up a single. Well, Jordan Clark, he'll move on to 3. Sorry, 80 for 3.
Yeah, Marnus becoming more and more effective in this format with his leg spin. There's a lot of natural variation and again some good pace and googlies on it. So he's going through the full repertoire tonight.
Into the left-handed Curran, who's using his feet. Whips this one straight down the ground. Good fielding down there at long on. Is that Carlson? It is, and the throw comes in. 1 bounce over the top of the stumps, but they're back for 2. So nice bit of timing from Sam Curran, but Carlson quickly round and sliding and getting the throw away. He's recovered from being walloped in the middle of his chest, obviously, as in over the wicket again comes Labuschagne. This is tucked away by Sam Curran into the leg side. Hogan comes up to do the fielding from deep backward square. 1 more to the total. Sam Curran moves on to 28 and Surrey move on to 83 for 3 as Jordan Clark waits again. Labuschagne tosses this one up and Jordan Clark just works it down towards long on. Byram does the fielding down there. So again, just ticking this round at the moment, Messrs Clark and Curran.
Yeah, I think Glamorgan again will be very happy with the singles on show here. They protected the boundaries very well through this middle period, and the longer they can do that, they'll be very pleased with how they've gone so far.
Waits again does Sam Curran. Labuschagne into him, and Curran's looking to work leg side. It'll be a wide down the leg side. This might run away for 4. It will indeed, because Cook couldn't get gloves to that. So that's a bonus for Surrey. 4 wide, so the extra delivery as well in the over from Marnus Labuschagne. That fairly whistled down below us for 4.
Yeah, it seemed to be a little bit of spin there for Marnus as well. It wasn't a great starting line, but it certainly seemed to have gripped. So it'll be interesting to see whether Dan Moriarty on his first game of the summer can get some movement as well.
Surrey players either sat in the dugout or up in the dressing room, watching away as this is turned by Sam Curran into the leg side. Very controlled innings again, this from Sam Curran. He moves on to 29.
Yeah, we just sat here holding our breath, waiting for the onslaught, but it hasn't quite come yet.
And the Rhine still sat in the dugout with his bits and pieces on, ready to get out there as this is chopped away by Jordan Clark to backward point, and Hogan got the throw away quickly, and Jordan Clark was sort of strolling that and then suddenly had to get the afterburners on. End of the over, 13 gone, 91 for 3 Surrey. Sam Curran has 29 and Jordan Clark is on 5.
So 12 off that over, largely thanks to the 5 wides down the leg side with a bit of turn for a ball that started on leg stump and moved away. Prem Sisodia then from this Cathedral Road end to bowl to Jordan Clark. 5 not out, the men out. Roy for 21, Jacks for 17, both to Michael Neser, and Laurie Evans for 14, dismissed by James Wheel. As Sisodia bowls and a swing and a miss, and that was agricultural from Jordan Clark.
It was a good old swing. Again, these Glamorgan spinners have done very well to stay away from the arcs of these Surrey batters.
Will Clark have another wind up here? Now he's tucked up and clips it out towards square leg. They'll look for the second. They will get the second as Byram runs round in front of the umpire. Gets the throw into the non-striker's end, but it's an easy 2. 93 for 3. Yes, Sisodia troubled by injury last season after a real breakthrough, as that's lobbed up to third man, and that will be a Sisodia wicket as Clark skewed that up off an outside edge, trying to hit over the offside, but could only lob it as far as Douthwaite on the edge of the circle. Surrey 93 for 4.
Yeah, some brilliant pressure again by Glamorgan and their spinners there. Some deserving rewards. After a drop at long on off Marnus's bowling, they finally get one as a skew to third man. Potentially here, Mark, missing out on the overseas Karen Pollard to really marshal this kind of middle part of the innings. There's a real skill and a speciality to it. There's a lot of guys here who can hit the ball, but certainly batting through the middle is no easy task in T20.
I get the impression, the way that Sam Curran's going about this, that's his job now. He knows that, so he's just knocking it around because he knows he's perfectly capable of going big himself, obviously. But I think he's noticed that now, and out comes Narain. Now, as I say, there's only one way Narain will play this, and he will swing from the rafters here. Well, Mr. Narain, it's entertaining.
Yeah, you get your money's worth when Sunil Narain plays, don't you? He's turned into such a brilliant all-round cricketer. I think everyone knows plenty about his spinning capabilities, but over the last few years he seems to be more and more of an asset with the bat.
Left-hander, he's played 51 internationals in this short format, as well as 6 tests and 65 ODIs. Smallish man, made 52 against an Irons boys the other day. It's a Trinidadian, as is Pollard, who is here but not playing. 93 for 4, Sisodia to Narain, who drives to long on, long off for a single as Hogan lopes round in front of us. 94 for 4.
Off the top of my head, I think this is something like his 410th T20 game. Sunil Narain.
Yeah, there's some big numbers being racked up. I noticed Ravi Bopara was at a similar number. I think Jimmy Vince for us is getting up to 300 games, and he's only 31, I believe.
Sisodia bowls. Curran flicks it away towards mid-wicket. Single taken.
And at the other end, I'm sure Sam Curran will be racking up some good numbers by the end of his career.
I think we worked out with Pollard, Narain and Chris Jordan, we were over 1,100 T20 game.
Sisodia bowls to Curran, who slams him towards long on. Oh, it's dropped by Carlson, and has it touched the ropes? Carlson says yes, it has. Oh, difficult chance, but unfortunately for Kieran Carlson, who's usually one of Glamorgan's gun fielders, he not only put it down, but trickled backwards and flicked the rope, or he touched the rope while they're trying to flick it back.
Yeah, similar with Eddie Byram. I think the guys are just struggling to pick it up early and just starting to move a little bit late. As you say, Kieran's a fantastic fielder, and we've seen him take those many a time, so they'll be disappointed, and hopefully it won't cost them too much here.
I tell you what, the old long hops causing troubles tonight,
underrated, isn't it?
Laurie Evans, that one straight down to Byram, and he didn't pick it up and dropped it, and that one Narain.
It was just dying on Kieran Carlson.
Great effort to get to it. It really was.
He went for the catch rather than just trying to block it, and paid the penalty as the ball skewed off backwards towards the rope.
Yeah, it was the right move. It was a really tough catch, moving full pace down to his left. But it's going to be interesting to see if Sunil can cash in here.
So it's Labuschagne with our 15th over, coming in to Sam Curran from that river end, and Curran just working this one into the leg side. And Nick Cook's at it now. Here he is. Haven't seen much of Mr. Cook as yet. Everyone's heard from Mr. Cook, no doubt, out there. But he's saying to Marnus Labuschagne, don't run down the middle of the wicket. The 100 is up for Surrey. So 100 for 4.
I'm not sure Sunny will be too disappointed.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If Marnus wants to run straight down the middle, Sunil Narain will be delighted. So it's Narain on strike. He's had a life. He's had 2 balls and he's got 5.
Yeah, again, you're going to be looking straight into his arc here, long on to deep mid-wicket, and nothing goes too far away from there. It's knocked down to long on.
Well, this is actually quite a sort of non-violent shot from Narain. Just elegantly turns that one down towards long on for a single. And Narain will move on to 6. 101 for 4. 2 left-handers out there. Sam Curran on 31. Labuschagne into him. Oh, Curran's got stumped. Comes down the pitch to Labuschagne. Looks to go over the top. Good bowling from Marnus Labuschagne. Cook does the rest. Sam Curran goes for 31. Surrey are 5 down. And a very good bit of bowling that from Marnus Labuschagne.
Yeah, they've been brilliant here, Glamorgan. Again, the last few overs, pretty subdued innings from Sam, trying to hold the innings together. But those two wickets in the last few overs put some pressure on this Surrey lower order to get them up to a score. with 5 overs left, I think they'll be looking at, if they can get up to somewhere near 140, I think they'll be really pleased with this on this wicket. But I think 130, and they're probably feeling the game. But great middle session for here from Glamorgan.
If I jump into my copious stats here,
we go.
it's on my computer. I noticed that you're doing everything on your clever computer.
Well, yes, it's half working today, which is
Webby's got everything covered.
I'm still with a notebook and a pen. But against Gloucestershire, Surrey 129 and defended it with 92, knocking Gloucestershire over. So as you say, anything around that 130 mark, I think with this bowling attack, Surrey would still be pretty confident. They've got some work to do though. 101 for 5, and Jamie Overton is out there in the middle. Right-hander, of course. And Labuschagne comes over the wicket to Overton, and Overton cuts his first ball out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope as the throw comes in. And Overton's off the mark with the single, and Surrey are 102 for 5.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see Jamie Overton's role since he's moved down to London. He's certainly played a lot of different roles. Coming down as a tearaway quick, he's really turning himself into a proper lower order hitter for...
Oh, bowled is he? LBW. Narain looking to swing one leg side, and it's hit the pad, and umpire Cook slowly but surely puts the finger up, and Sunil Narain has gone as well now to Labuschagne. It was the only way he was going to play it, Narain. And that's 2 in the over again. We saw this with the openers. And Sunil Narain on his way back, LBW for 6, and Surrey are 6 down.
I think it looked a pretty straightforward decision there. Again, I think Sunil won't be too disappointed to see in the spin, but Marnus got that one to grip back and it's hit him in the back leg. And again, the pressure mounts up here. Glamorgan restricting with every wicket.
Yep, and out comes Chris Jordan. So Jamie Smith still being left down the order here.
Tough gig that.
Absolutely. He's slowly slipping down the order again, is Jamie Smith. And Chris Jordan, the captain, is out there now with Jamie Overton. So we're in the 15th over here on BBC Sport Online and on the Glamorgan live stream, of course. And 102 for 6, Surrey. There's a bit in this pitch for everybody. And Marnus Labuschagne 2 in the over with his leg spin. So Chris Jordan, right-hander, hugely experienced, is the Surrey captain. Back this season to captain Surrey in this form of the game. As Labuschagne is over the wicket to Jordan, and Jordan pushes his first ball out into the offside. Won't get a single. Very good over that from Marnus Labuschagne. Just the 3 runs off it. 2 wickets, including Sam Curran. 5 to go. And Aaron Donald. At the moment, Glamorgan will be pretty happy, but they'll know what's coming with this Surrey bowling attack, so they'll want to keep it under 130, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's the benefit of chasing. I think it's a lot of an easier task to, when you've got 130 on the board, you know you don't have to go out the blocks. When you're setting that target and you're unsure of the wicket, it's sometimes very difficult to pace that innings. But as you're just saying, it's very interesting seeing Jamie Smith not walking out here. He's some player in his own right, and there's plenty of time left here. 30 balls you've got to manage in the T20.
Sisodia 1 for 22 in his first 3 overs. A single is added to that as Jamie Overton pushes it easily away on the offside, and they wander through for a single. Overton, a big man, wearing 88, like Dan Douthwaite on the Glamorgan side. Sisodia, number 32, has got 3 men in the circle on the offside, just fine leg on the leg side. As there's a forward defensive from Chris Jordan. Don't get many of those to the pound.
Well, no, as we said, we saw Sam and Laurie try and manage that middle period, and with this fall of wickets again, it's about probably trying to knock it round for a couple of overs before they go too crazy.
Sisodia bowls to Jordan, who's beaten by that one. There's big appeal for LBW. The ball's running down towards third man. It's just saved inside the ropes, and they'll go through for just the single. There were probably an easy 2 runs in there, but Jordan was probably distracted by worrying about whether he'd be given out LBW.
Yeah, just with Prem's angle where he is on the crease and how fast he fires it in, I think it was just sliding down leg there, but certainly not much room to free their arms.
Sisodia, and again this one sees Overton trying to hit over the top, and he's got all of it. That is over the head of a backpedaling Carlson on the long off boundary. He gave himself as much as he could, Kieran Carlson there, but would have been over the fence and he gone back any further, and Overton strikes a maximum, much needed for Surrey at the moment, 110 for 6.
Is that the first maximum of the afternoon as well?
Second, isn't it?
Second.
It will,
That's a lusty blow, that. Again, the same angle, that kind of extra cover. It's a little bit shorter down there.
Overton faces up to Sisoja again, but plays this one to point, and it's a dot ball.
He's such a strong man, Jamie Overton, that even if he gets, you know, a quarter of his bat on that, it's still going to go a long, long way.
Yeah, I think that's probably about 3/4. Sisoja bowls, and Overton plays it through the covers for a single. So a good comeback from the Cardiff spinner. 111 for 6. There were 9 runs off that 16th over of the innings.
I meant 3/4, but I've got my quarters muddled up there. I meant 3/4. But he is so strong, Jamie Overton. And his batting is, well, it was good anyway when he arrived at Surrey, but it hasn't half come on now.
No, he certainly played a different role down here. It seems like he settled into London life, and the Surrey duck egg blew pretty well since he's moved down. It's really added another bow to his game.
Well, in Championship cricket this season, he's been absolutely outstanding with the red ball as well, Jamie Overton. He's got Marnus Labuschagne waiting for him now from that river end. Long on, long off. 2 back on that leg side rope, sweeper as well for Marnus Labuschagne. 2 in his last over, just waiting for Byron to get to his fielding position in his yellow boots down there at backward point as Labuschagne is in, and that's just the one that skids on a touch to Overton. He turns it into the leg side. Nisa comes up to do the fielding, and they'll pick up one more. And Chris Jordan's sporting this season a very natty pair of sort of blue with a pink fluorescent stripe down the side pair of cricketing boots.
He looks good in them,
no,
doesn't
absolutely. 112 for 6. As forward goes Chris Jordan. Turns this one into the leg side, and they'll pick up another single. One more to the total, 113 for 6. Let's be honest, if he was out there in a pair of flip-flops, it would look cool with Chris Jordan.
It's funny, isn't it, that the market in coloured boots hasn't gone up as quickly as the market in coloured kit. You still see quite a few players wearing white boots.
It's over the wicket once again. Here's Labuschagne, and this is cut by Overton down towards backward point. Byram does the fielding. I always think, though, you've either got to be a really good brilliant fielder, or an incredible player, because if you've got those coloured boots on, you get something wrong, you're very easily identifiable. As here goes Overton, up over, long on for 6. He's got hold of that one. That's hit the back row of the stand. So those big long levers of Jamie Overton, and that hit the back row of the stand down there at the river end. I thought it was going to ricochet over the top of it, and someone walking through Sophia Gardens was going to get the shock of their lives. But he's on to 16. It's 119 for 6.
Yeah, just bringing some sort of momentum here. He just crept into his arc with that long reach of his.
Labuschagne's in. That's quicker. Looking to sweep. He's outside the line there. Hits the front pad of Jamie Overton. Rolls away into the offside, and there's no run. Because I know from experience that pathway there around the back has a lot of people running, walking their dogs, cycling on those scootery type things up by the River Taff there. As Labuschagne once more in over the wicket, he comes to Overton, and Overton looks to force off the back foot, beats the outside edge, and taken by Chris Cook. So 8 off the over, 17 gone now for Surrey. They've got 3 left, and then Nair and Donald, they find themselves 119 for 6 with 3 to go.
Yeah, even with that last over off Marnus there, with that after that 6, there's 2 really important dots to bring that over back down to a manageable size. Surrey never really quite got away or got that big over I think they've been looking for, so it's going to be an interesting last 3 overs here to post a score.
So 2 wickets for Labuschagne, 2 for Nisa up top, 1 apiece for Wheel and for Sisodia. It will be Michael Nisa to bowl the 18th over and presumably the 20th, and Hogan has the 19th if they so desired. Douthwaite's bowled well there, 2 overs, 0 for 7, but it looks as though Glamorgan will get the maximum from their spin, or have done, as that's played down through backward point by Jordan. He wants a second run, and it's fairly comfortable in the end. 121 for 6 are Surrey.
Lovely placement there from Chris Jordan. Just got it to the left of the man at backward point and came sprinting back for 2. Overton's just wandered up for a word with his captain and a punch of gloves.
121 for 6. Nisa raring to get at them. Jordan on to 3. Nisa is in to bowl to him, and he's hit on the pad there. Overton's dropped his bat. The ball has run down to third man for a leg by. 122 for 6.
He might be needing that, I think. The next
Nisa hurls it back towards him.
Looked for a moment like Nisa was going to put it down the back of his trousers there for a moment. I have to say, it's a formidable looking lineup at our end of the ground with Alex Wharf and Jamie Overton stood next to him, isn't it?
That's a tall pair, isn't it? That's a pair of rugby second rows.
I was thinking we could be down the road.
Good engine room there.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Nisa into bowl, this is hit up towards long on and over long on as Overton goes big. Don't think anyone's managed to claim that one in the crowd. It's lobbed back towards Hogan. 128 for 6, and Overton playing with some effect here.
Yeah, he's pretty much had 3 balls up into his slot, and he's connected with all 3. It's going to be interesting to see what tactics they go with here. Maybe look to slam the wicket a bit harder and start mixing up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, he almost got a bit tucked up there, Jamie Overton, but he's such a powerful striker that he can get away with it. 128 for 6. Nisa bowls. Overton pulls down towards square leg, and he's got 4 more as it just beat the fielder down there. And Overton giving the Surrey innings some very necessary acceleration, and they should now post a competitive total. 132 for 6.
Yeah, this Surrey batting depth really starting to show through here. Even with the top order and all the big names there, you're seeing Jamie Overton play a really important little cameo here. Could be potentially the difference in a low-scoring affair.
Exactly what he did on Friday night against Kent. Right at the back end, 27 off 11 balls on that occasion.
26 off 12 so far here as he hammers that one into the offside, and that is really well struck. And Jamie Overton is causing absolute devastation to Glamorgan at the moment as Byram sprawled in front of the pavilion but couldn't get a hand to it on the cover boundary. And Surrey dashing along to 136 for 6.
Yeah, he's come out here and struck it really cleanly from ball 1, and that's exactly what Surrey needed. The impetus certainly on their end now.
Yeah, this is the big over that Churchy was asking for from the Surrey point of view. As Nisa into Overton, up in the block hole. Yorker plays it back out on the offside, thinks of a single. Nisa fields. No runs, so a dot ball, but still an expensive over with 17 runs in all, including a leg by, 3 big boundaries, and this partnership now worth 34 for the 7th wicket, and Jordan has 3 of them.
I don't know what Surrey are paying Jamie Overton even, but he is worth his weight in gold at this time of an innings, because he did it, as I say, on Friday night.
Beefsteaks, I think, the way he's hitting
yeah,
the ball.
Absolutely. And as I say, on Friday night he got Surrey up and over where they were going to end up, with 27 off 11 balls with 3 sixes, and here he's doing exactly the same at Sophia Gardens. And these are an important 2 overs for Glamorgan now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hogan back on to bowl the last of his spell here. They've obviously got some options they could use at the death here, but I'll be very surprised if they go away from Nessa for this last over as well. So 2 big guns back, and Jamie Overton on the non-striker's end here. So I'm assuming Chris is going to try and get off strike the way Jamie's been hitting them.
Yes. Jordan waits with that bat raise as Hogan, 19th over, comes into Jordan, swing and a miss from Chris Jordan. It's pretty well bowled by Michael Hogan. Jordan will stay down there pleading with Nick Cook to put his arms out, but definitely inside the tram lines, that one. But yes, I think what Chris Jordan wants to do here is just get some bat on it and get Jamie Overton on strike, because Overton, highest individual score of the innings now with this 30. It's coming good time. 11 balls left of the innings, as Hogan is over the wicket to Chris Jordan, and Jordan drives up and over the top of short extra cover. He's got a fair amount of bat on that. That's going to race away for 4 runs because David Lloyd hung in the air there at short extra. So Chris Jordan, there's me saying get Jamie Overton on strike. He's checked that one straight up and over the top of short extra cover and away for 4. And Chris Jordan, of course, is very capable of hitting the ball a long way. He's on to 7. And this is real damage at the back end of the innings from Surrey, 140 for 6.
Yeah, the skipper Lloydie there just taking a bit of a risk, trying to get in and squeeze that single to keep Jordan on strike, and it's just gone over his head at extra cover.
Hogan's in again. He's up on the toes of Jordan. This will be a single this time as he works it out towards deep mid-wicket. Throw comes in, one bounce over the top of the stumps from Labuschagne. So that does bring Overton on to strike. 141 for 6. Group of school kids making their way down towards the grandstand away to our right hand side, sporting, well, they look like Glamorgan shirts to me from here, or Glamorgan yellow shirts,
or Ukraine, you never know.
No, it could be yes. Oh, here goes Overton, and he's chipped this pitching wedge style for 6. Oh my goodness me. Well, both long on and a wideish mid off. Just kept watching that in the air, but as I say, that was like a par 3 over the lake and just landing it within 3 foot of the pin for 6. Jamie Overton, but it was up there a long time. It just kept going and going and going. Definitely came off the toe end of his bat, but he's on to 36.
Yeah, I'm not surprised for Michael Hogan to try and hit the wide line here. It was interesting to see he had mid off there. He's gone back to long off now, so I think he's going to try and keep it away from his arc.
He's in again here, Hogan, and this is just drilled out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope by Jamie Overton. He looks at the toe end of his bat again, so well bowled that from Michael Hogan, but ridiculous shot really from Jamie Overton, because as I say, he's toe ended it, and it was a bit like when you stood there on the par 3 and you know you've got it, and it's gone over the lake, and you just watch it in the air. And it lands on the green. Not that I've ever done that. Lands on the green. Yeah, well, mine normally just goes straight in the middle of the lake. Because in over the wicket again goes Hogan. Here goes Jordan down the ground. I'm not sure he's got enough of this. No, he hasn't. And Chris Jordan caught down at long on. I think it's Michael Nisa down there who's taken the catch away in the distance. So Chris Jordan goes. And Surrey still doing some damage here at the back end of the innings. But well bowled Michael Hogan, and Chris Jordan looks at the toe end of his bat, and Nisa with the catch, and Surrey find themselves now 7 down with still 1 over to go.
Yeah, Hogue's executed really well there. He set his field for the wide Yorker and kept hugging that wide line, and Jordan's just reached for that one and found Nisa at long on.
Well, Overton is on strike. That's the only thing there. Oh, here comes Jamie Smith. So, at 9 again.
He's got a really tough gig. I feel for him here. Not much he can do in this position.
He might just be sprinting, I think.
Maybe that's why they're holding him back.
So, will the ball come soaring up towards us in this last over? 148 for 7 are Surrey here on BBC Sport Online from BBC Sport Wales and BBC Radio London, as Michael Nisa will try to finish this innings off. The first ball flat batted up towards Carlson. They'll come back for a second run. That'll be close. Not out. Oh, otherwise Nisa dropped it. He hasn't taken the bails off.
It's very close. It was just a great piece of fielding from Kieran running around from mid-off. He's picked it up and fired it in. It was just a bit too much of a tough length for Nesta to take, but I think Smith might have just been short of his ground there.
Yeah, I think he would have been struggling. Nisa claimed that one.
Yeah, tough length.
Oh yes, that would have been out by a couple of metres, as we see on the replay. Next ball is dragged off a bottom edge down towards fine leg. They'll come back for another couple here. 152 for 7 as Overton continues to lay about him. Moving on to 41 not out.
I'm wondering if James Smith needed really to put his pads and stuff on. He could have just gone out there with his bat, couldn't he?
Or at least just the front one on.
Umpire might have had something to say about that. 152 for 7 4 balls of this Surrey innings left. It looks like being a formidable total on this pitch. Short ball, hooked towards mid-wicket. 1 bounce into the ropes for 4 runs. Overton moves on to 45.
Yeah, looks like Nessa again execute that slower ball into the wicket pretty well, but Jamie Overton, the form and the striking he's in, he's done well to drop it in the middle of the 2 deep men out on the leg side, so that's another boundary for Jamie, and pretty impressive cameo here. Well, it's probably a bit more than a cameo now on 45.
Outstanding innings this from Jamie Overton. He's sort of wrestled this innings, taking it by the absolute scruff of the neck now.
Yeah, I said they're getting very close to 160 here, which I think from the start we always thought was going to be a fantastic total on this pitch.
Yeah, he's rescued Surrey as Nisa is in to bowl to Overton. Another big muscular swing out towards wide, long on. Hogan runs round and picks up comfortable 2 runs.
Funny that I think that's the first ball Nessa wouldn't be particularly happy with, and that's the one Jamie Overton's
so
missed
cross with himself, isn't he?
Just missed the Yorker there a little bit. It was right into Jamie Overton's slot, but
10 off 4 balls so far in this over as Surrey finish with a flourish on this grey dull afternoon in Cardiff, and Nisa is in to bowl. And again Yorker length, again carted away off a bottom edge. They'll try 2, they might be struggling, that's out.
Oh, lovely finger up from Nick Cook there, a bit of showmanship.
Jamie Overton finally goes, couldn't get back for the second off the penultimate ball of the innings. Overton is run out and Surrey are 159 for 8, I believe.
Yeah, quite a brilliant knock there from Jamie Overton. Really swung the things into Surrey's favour, we feel there, and I think they've got them up to a score they're going to be very happy defending with this bowling attack. Glamorgan, it's been a very up and down innings so far. They came out of the blocks very well. Glamorgan really wrestled it back, and then Jamie Overton's just really gave them some strong momentum.
Dan Moriarty will face the last ball of the innings. So Overton made 48, including the first one there.
I love the reason why James Smith isn't going to face ball there, is he?
Thanks for coming.
Tough crowd.
He'll have enough to do behind the stumps. 159 for 8. Last ball of the Surrey innings. Moriarty swings it away on the leg side. Up to Carlson. They take 1. They try and take a second, and Moriarty is pointlessly run out. 160 for 9. I think that makes it.
Yep, that's what I've got as well.
We've seen pretty much everything this innings, haven't we?
Well, he sort of set off for a 2 that was never there, and Jamie Smith wasn't even thinking about it, and then slipped and was run out by a good couple of yards. But
good for Jamie Smith. The last thing he needed was to be run out without facing the ball.
Absolutely. It sort of reminds me of that story about Mark Wood in that World Cup final when he walked out to join Ben Stokes with everything. He had chest guard, arm guard, and Ben Stokes just said, "What are you doing? All you're going to do is run." But I think Surrey will be pretty satisfied with that, and an outstanding knock from Jamie Overton. That 48 has got them up to that 160 we were talking about.
I think that's above par in Iron.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it, but it also shows the importance of one guy getting in and playing a special knock. It's very much the way in T20, especially towards those lower totals. So Glamorgan will be hoping one of their batting lineup can do that sooner rather than later.
So the Surrey leading scorers then: Jamie Overton with 48, Sam Curran with 31, Jason Roy 21, Will Jack 17, Laurie Evans 14, and Glamorgan bowling figures. Well, Hogan had 1 for 37 off his 4 overs, a little bit of tap in the final over. Michael Nisa finished with 3 for 40, 2 for 40. So he again was expensive at the end. Wheel 2 overs, 1 for 17. Douthwaite 2 overs, conceded just 7 runs, and both spinners bowled out. Don't often see that for Glamorgan this season, but Sisodia 4 overs, 1 for 30. Marnus Labuschagne 4 overs, 0 for 27. So 160 for 9 is the final Surrey total here on BBC Sport Online. Mark and Irene and myself will take a few minutes break, and we'll be back with you in time for the start of the Surrey inning, the Glamorgan innings, as they chase 161 to win.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, 5 overs, I believe, constitutes a game. So I think Glamorgan, if they can kind of bank on the rain coming in, are certainly in a premium position without too many early wickets.
As that one is up in the block hole, a good ball from Topley, and Lloyd squeezes it off bat and pad out on the offside. Well, they still have to get these runs, and hopefully we'll get DLS guides. It's up on the boards, but be nice to know the 5 over scores.
Yeah, very much what we expect from Topley here. The first sea ball slamming a wicket and just swinging it back into Lloydie here. That slip's gone out pretty quickly. I think very much aware of this rain in the Duckworth-Lewis score.
23 white ball appearances for England. Reece Topley, his dad's here to watch as well, among sporting parents as they dash through for a single. Bit of bat and pad involved, and Glamorgan 3 without loss after the first over here on BBC Sport Online.
I'm going to be interested to see who opens up from the river end. From memory, it was Jordan Clark on Friday night, but Sam Curran didn't actually have a bowl on Friday night. Oh, it's going to be Sam Curran from this Cathedral Road end. So Sam Curran didn't bowl, took a 5 for against Hampshire on Thursday night, didn't bowl on Friday, and now Sam Curran into the attack from the Cathedral Road end. There you go, Duckworth-Lewis is up there now, 12. 12. And we have to have 5 overs. It's just sort of lightish drizzle at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly looks like it's going to set in. I guess the question is when and how. So this is a very interesting time to be batting. You know, how much do you try and manage that Duckworth-Lewis score, and how much do you keep an eye on the full game itself? Sam will be looking to swing it back here, a bit more stump to stump than Topley. LBW and bowled a bit more in play here.
So Lloyd on strike, second over. Sam Curran left arm over the wicket he comes, and that does swing, but it's chipped down the ground by Lloyd over the top of Reece Topley, and that's going to beat him into the rope. And Reece Topley has had to hurdle the fence there. He did very well, because I think he was aware as well the cover's down there and it would be a bit slippy, and he's almost ended up sitting next to the gentleman in the front row. But nicely played by Lloyd, up and over the top and away for the first Glamorgan boundary.
Yeah, lovely technique by Reece to hurdle that fence down there. That's a great shot by Lloyd. Very much what he does. He's looking to come forward and really pounce on that full ball down the ground.
Curran's in again. That's a short, slower one. This is pulled into the leg side. Topley won't have to hurdle anything here, because he'll get round to do the fielding. It's just like Colin Jackson in his prime there from Reece Topley. And 8 without loss. It's to be quite a high hurdle as well.
Rain really starting to come down here.
He's got long legs, isn't he? Well, the umpires will have to make a quick call here, won't they? Do we press on for 5 overs or not?
Well, if it gets any harder, I'm not sure we will, because you can see it now coming down as Sam Curran coming left arm over the wicket once again. And this time Sam Northeast just pushes to backward point. They'll take the quick single. 1 more to the total. I suppose the other thing that Surrey could do here is just take a bit of time in between deliveries if this rain is getting heavier and heavier. But this won't be easy for bowlers and fielders either. That's the other thing they'll be looking at, is that the fact that this ball will be getting slippy and skiddy.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go. We're coming off because it is getting so heavy now. So we're going to have to come off 1.3 overs in. Now we need 5 overs to get a game in. And sadly, we are coming off at 1.3 with Glamorgan looking to chase 161, 9 without loss.
Yeah, so the scores needed if we were to get a 5 over thrash in, Glamorgan would need to be 31 for 0, 35 for 1, 40 for 2, because obviously it goes up as you accumulate. But 9 without loss off 9 balls, and on comes the hover cover. And well, this is going to be a tricky situation here at Sophia Gardens. Thank you very much indeed to the Glamorgan media boys for providing those Duckworth-Lewis.
I thought the way that Gav tapped on the window there, I thought he'd sent you his ball by ball in a text of his 28 yesterday. The way you jumped on your phone there,
but his boundary highlights.
Absolutely, his boundary highlights. But real shame here, and always a disaster in T20 cricket. Everybody, to get some precipitation. Not what we want. Not what we want.
Yes, but from the forecast it hasn't looked good. It looks as though it might set in. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But there we are. I suppose if that is the end of proceedings, it'll give people time to get where they're going to be for the football coverage from 5 o'clock. It's on BBC Radio Wales, and although Surrey listeners might be completely disinterested, the nation of Wales, I think, whether you're a keen football fan or not, I think everyone's taking an interest on this one.
I'm trying to work out how I can wheedle that into the conversation when I get home this evening. I've only got a sort of a three mile trip back to see my little one tonight, and how do I wheedle into the conversation around about about 7 o'clock? Will she all be wanting to watch Grey's Anatomy? I would have thought. That seems to be her new. So I've somehow got to get us off that.
Do you have multiple
medical drama
involved?
Not really, no. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe if I say to her that she could sort of pretend to be the physio during the game, that might work.
Well, since she's back in school tomorrow, then surely everyone will be talking about. She wouldn't want to be out of the loop.
Absolutely,
would she?
Research purposes.
She
for
wouldn't
school
want to be
tomorrow morning.
And
Absolutely,
by her
absolutely, absolutely. But this is a shame, isn't it? Because it was nicely set up, this game, and I always think with the crowd have seen some great batting from Jamie Overton, some really good bowling from Michael Neser, but now it's just, I've got a horrible feeling that this isn't going anywhere now.
No, certainly on the forecast this looks like it's settled in for most of the afternoon, but as we all know, it doesn't take long to try and squeeze another 3 and a bit overs in. However, I think they're going to do well. The full covers are going on here, and they're going to batten down the hatches certainly for the foreseeable future anyway.
Yes, it's all a little bit more high tech than it used to be here at Sophia Gardens when I started commentating on cricket, where it was all a bit more manual, but these days they've got the hover cover, they've got sheets available to spread out from either side. They have a hover cover, and they've got the long pipes that they'll ground staff are now directing down the holes in the playing surface for the drains, and they are going to bring out sheeting on both sides of the hover cover. It looks like it's not heavy rain at the moment, but the umpires, Nick Cook and Alex Wharf, having taken them off, will not really be willing to put them back on again unless it stops, basically, I think. No?
Yeah, I said it's not looking great this end. It was going to be a really interesting actually couple of overs there. I think we were all hoping to squeeze that 5 over game in, and it was going to be a really interesting passage of play, but I said there's certainly we're not keeping our hopes up too much here.
It's proper rain, that proper
wet rain,
wet rain, proper wet rain, as opposed to Welsh the other rain. Sort. But it's absolutely hosing down there.
Yeah, I was amazed to see an iron that Hampshire got back on last night, because they came off with about 3 overs to go or something, and I thought, oh, that's it. I've seen the end of the game and tuned over to see Diana Ross serenading the Royals or whatever it was,
good, it?
And then I clicked back on and saw that they'd actually finished the match.
Yeah, I don't think we were expecting to get back out either. I think we got back out just for old Tim Seifert to get his 100, but fortunately for us, it was pretty much they needed 36 and over for the last 2 overs, so we didn't have to be 2 on the ball, fortunately.
No.
But a good win for us last night.
I turned it on and someone was singing about New York, which confused me.
Yeah, and I thought it should have been Newport.
Well, I can work it out.
I've heard that one before.
Newport State of Mind.
Yes.
So, so what's your schedule in and around the first team squad, or do you play a second team game to keep in practice?
Yeah, no, we're still part of the first team squad. Obviously, the T20 season is here and among us. We've got 3 games next week and then slide very quickly into a championship game itself, so it's trying to prepare for both. It's not the easiest position to be in, and it's not a premium place to be, but it's just starting to keep an eye on this. We've got a red ball game against Yorkshire, very important for us in the our title challenge hopes against it seems to be Surrey are going to be the top contenders, and if we can get a result there again, we'll be flying in red ball. But certainly that white ball block to start with hasn't gone to plan, but hopefully a bit of momentum off the back of it.
It's fascinating having that one game of championship cricket. I think for all the sides in first division cricket and second division cricket, it's going to be an important game. That when you look back at the end of the season, that's going to be an important game. So it's sort of getting switched on. It's not an easy thing to do. Go from T20 into just one game of Red Bull, though, is it?
No. So what's the setup now? Do you have a Red Bull net on Saturday then, and that's it?
It's pretty much, you don't get much time to switch over. It's about trying to pick up as much practice in and around the T20s as you can. But as I was speaking to Churchy about, we're very much, especially the slightly larger counties, if you like, we've got very much a red ball and white ball squad starting to appear. Certainly our bowlers, our bowling attack is completely separate at the minute. The difficult thing about this week, you're going to have a lot of people missing games. There's a lot of international cricket on. I believe there's test matches and ODIs in the Netherlands overlapping.
Yeah, that's right.
And certainly from our end, I believe it's going to be difficult to fit Mo Abbas in due to registration problems with the T20. I think there's only so many overseas you can have registered and stuff. So I think a few teams will be, rolling out slightly different lineups. So certainly it's a week we need to try and capitalise on, especially if we've got the luxury of having two separate squads, or certainly going towards that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just looking at this Surrey 11. Obviously, Reece Topley and Sam Curran are in that squad for the Netherlands as well. So I'm just thinking championship-wise as well for Surrey. From this team, if those two are away at that point for the championship, well, Jason Roy won't play championship, Laurie Evans won't play championship, Jamie Overton will, Sunil Narayan won't, Jordan Clark will, Chris Jordan won't, Jamie Smith will, Dan Moriarty might. So from this side, I think it's four that will play that championship. So just talking about those sort of obviously specialist
Pope
players,
folks on
Pope
top of that
folks
as well.
are away as well. So that's why that sort of Gareth Batty's talked all season about this. Is it's not the team, it's a squad thing. This, and I think this is the time of the year now where that comes into play with sort of T20, and then you're going into championship.
No, you big money sorts.
There you are.
We haven't got two squads
Talking
down
about
here.
Surrey, not Hampshire.
We haven't got two squads.
London waiting, isn't it?
Yeah, London waiting.
Yeah, there'll be most of this side will be on championship duty as well against Sussex here next Sunday. Let's hope the weather's rather better. There's a few hanging on in the upper reaches of the main stand with its refurbished roof these days, but probably only a few hundred spectators now left in the ground, as the ground staff are hard at work. And the cut-off time 16:45, so that's an hour's time for the match itself.
Yeah, it seems
half hour is usually possible, isn't it?
Seems a little bit lighter, but the question is, are you going to get that let up to clear up and get back on? That's going to be a
bit of time for taking all these covers off now, and obviously the synchronised tractor driving around the outfield. I never know how to describe that.
I think it should be a new sport, or possibly in the Olympics at some point.
I can't imagine, with all the machinery and hundreds and thousands of pounds that we pump into the ground staff and the machines, there must be something better than an outfield rope to
well, it's still used by everybody though, isn't it? It's still used by everyone.
In case you're wondering why we're nattering on, Glamorgan are 9 without loss off 9 balls, chasing 161 for victory in this T20 Blast match against Surrey. Surrey made 160 for 8 thanks to Jamie Overton's fabulous 48 off 21 deliveries. There were 2 wickets apiece for Labuschagne and for Nisa, and of course Anarin, you can probably claim expenses for this visit off your club, can't you? A bit of background research on Glamorgan for Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been taking my notes down here, so that I'm ready for our master plan. But no, it'd be nice to be back up in Cardiff in front of usually a pretty good crowd on a Friday night in Cardiff. So no, I'll be here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of family members shouting and screaming at me. Not necessarily all good things.
Well, yeah. So Friday nights are usually good, given half a chance with the weather, but of course the T20 Blast has been unfortunately shuffled forward a couple of weeks this season to allow for the extra championship games in the middle. 4 or 5 championship games mid-season for most counties, and they're trying to please everyone, aren't they? And you can't, basically, can you?
Yeah, no, it's really difficult, not only for the spectators, but the players as well to try and produce premium cricket every time you walk out is very difficult. As you said, unfortunately the slightly bigger counties now are leaning towards having this extended squad and guys favouring one format or another, which takes the load off a little bit, but you just can't quite make everything fit at the minute. So it's going to be interesting to see that. I'm sure there'll be some sort of fixture change next year. What it's going to look like, I'm not so sure. It's obviously a World Cup year in the 50 over stakes, so whether that format kind of comes back to the fore, and certainly there's lots of talk in the press about chopping and changing, but I think we're going to have to see it to believe it first. There's a lot of rumours flying around, but
I've been saying that my big thing with all of this, the thing that doesn't get mentioned an awful lot these days is, and you being in this as well, is this whole England Lions programme. And I think that is one area where I hope, and I've been sort of boring people with this, but I hope a proper sort of England Lions programme is put in place to, lads sat to my left, if proper overseas tour with the England Lions, getting you ready for what international cricket is all about, and we don't do that anymore.
Overseas tours are probably easier when, thankfully COVID has we hope receded. Overseas cricket is probably easier than trying to jam in some more games in the UK summer, I guess.
Yeah, I think that Lions programme, certainly more so over the last few years, but going forward is pretty much now just a winter programme, really. But even then, if you think of the guys you're likely to be involved in that squad, they're more than likely to be playing T20 franchise cricket.
Yeah, but and my point with that is, if you can make it right, and you can say to those lads, listen, we want you doing this, and this is why we want you doing this, and we're investing in it, and we're going to make it worth your while, then they've got that opportunity. But there's nothing like that at the moment, and I just think sort of that jump, just being parachuted into a test match, it's a very difficult thing to do, to learn on the spot. So that's one area that sort of I'm really interested, and especially with McCullum, who's he's one of those, he's used to working. The thing that sort of hasn't been mentioned a huge amount is that he worked with pretty limited resources with New Zealand, and look at them now. I know England beat them this morning, but they are still the best team in world cricket in terms of the 5-day stuff. The resources he's got at his disposal here compared to New Zealand are ridiculous. The number of players he's got to pick from, and the amount of cricket that's played, and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping that is one area where something does come out, and as I say, the overseas stuff is easier to do, obviously during the winter. I personally wouldn't mind seeing an England Lions game somewhere in the summer as well. That wouldn't. But then you've got the reciprocal stuff as well, that when England go over to wherever, are they going to get a game? But I just think that for me is that the decision will be made on county cricket and the structure. That will be made, and at the moment my fear slightly is that there's a lot of in one camp and a lot in the other camp, and no sort of meeting in the middle at the moment. That will have to happen at some point. But that big gap for me as well is that whole thing of getting people ready to play Test match cricket, and I think there is a the first division's great cricket, but there is a gap. There is a little jump there into playing Test match cricket, and I just think that's an area. People worried about players going off, and I would never ever, to any young player, if you get a chance of playing IPL or whatever, to go do it, unless there is something there that is an alternative in terms of the longer form of the game. And I think at the moment that isn't there, unless you're in that test squad. Because let's be honest, and I understood it during bubbles and everything, taking a much bigger squad over, but the last thing you really want to do is spend 8 weeks sat in the dugout running drinks out. That isn't ideal. So I'll be very interested to see what comes out about that as well.
Yeah, I knew a few of our guys have been on probably the last England Lions tour overlapped the Ashes, I believe, and I think that actually by all accounts worked pretty well, by almost running a concurrent tour.
The only problem with that was, of course, they came home during the first test and then couldn't go back out again.
Exactly.
Obviously,
so
due to COVID.
It expands your squad a little bit, and it seems to make sense. You can kind of be a bit more of a full squad. But it's an interesting one. I think the ECB have gone around about the England lines a lot of different ways. I think in the past there's certainly been, the next best players and, the next cab off the rank, but certainly the last few years it feels more like a development side, guys who we think, right, they've got potential, let's try.
Well, that was always, I'm old enough to remember sort of the A tours where they sort of went away for 3. Now there wasn't IPL and all that, I know, but you think, Alistair Kirk called out of an A tour in the West Indies to make his Test debut against India, and the thing was, he was in that environment when he got parachuted into play in a Test match. So as I say, what comes out with structures and everything will come out, but I think that's one area where I'd like to see a bit more thought go into, is sort of whatever they're going to call it. I don't know what we have some fangled modern name, I'm sure, but and for lads like this one sat to my left hand side now, he's making runs in Championship cricket, he's making runs in 4-day cricket, he's a huge talent, it's great to see him back. You want to give these lads something to go for, and then if you haven't got that there, and then the phone does go and it's somebody ringing you up saying, would you like to come over to wherever? No, I'm not going to stop anybody do that. Perfect, absolutely, go do it. You're young men and you've got a lot of time ahead of you, but at the minute for me there's no alternative, there's nothing else there unless you're in that Test squad. There's nothing else there now for the younger player to sort of be persuaded to stay and play a bit of red ball stuff.
Yeah, I said it's such a fine balance, and trying to fit schedule and the right amount of cricket in. But certainly, all the boys I know who've been part of an A side or a Lions tour, it's been a really proud moment to say I've represented, or I'm being thought about in that circle again. And I guess the benefit of all that is potentially that it's something the ECB have a bit more control over. I think people very much forget with this schedule, you're going to have to convince a lot of county chairmen to vote on these things. That it's not as simple as Rob Key coming in and saying, I think we should play 10 games this year. It's very much you're going to have to get that passed. I think it's 14 out of 18.
What's your feeling on playing fewer Championship games as a player?
Well, I think ultimately where we're at now, it feels like we need to try and find a couple less weeks of cricket. How that looks is a very fine line. I think going from 14 to 10 is a huge jump. People forget, as we're sat here watching the rain fall down, that can very much easily become 6 full games, 5 full games, 2 more affected by rain and a couple completely called off, and it suddenly doesn't look like much of a season. But however, from a personal standpoint, this random Championship game in the middle of the T20 block, for fans and for players, it seems like it's slightly unnecessary. So it's difficult. I've even in my short career, I've played 16 Championship games that went down to 14, and again, where there's 50 over comp sits in next year, they're going to have to play some sort of probably more valued comp next year. Whether that squeezes in at the top of the summer, which I think sounds most likely, or whether they kind of commit to the development competition, if you like. There's a lot of stones up in the air. If we're talking best of all worlds, and there's no budget limited, I think the solution is actually to move something overseas, outside of our time zone. Whether a 50 over comp you could host in the ICC Academy in Dubai. I'm trying to talk myself into a nice little holiday here too. But, if you with the money the 100 is bringing in now, that's not without the realms of possibility. You're looking at you could go out there and play 6 to 8 50 over games in a few day block as a group. And that's one competition that would be valued, and guys would be really excited to go and play.
I think the one thing that isn't going to move, and I'll say this, the one thing that will not move is the 100.
No,
so the 100's not moving. The 100 will be where it is.
That's now funding our game, whether you like it or not.
That is done whether whether you're a fan of it or not. It's not going to move from there. So now you've got to work with that. And now with the red ball stuff. You want it to be played at the right time of the year, and you also want to give the players preparation time, so they're at their very, very best. And the first block of games, if the weather holds and the pitches are, flatten out, and which I think is a good thing actually in many ways, because sides have got to work out how to take 20. But the only problem with that is a lot of games will go deep into that 4th day. The day after that, you're not going to be doing anything. You might have a bit of light, whatever. You might then be travelling and training, and then you're playing again. So that recovery period in preparation, that's going to get even harder. So I think it's doable. I think you're not going to please everybody. That's the thing. You're never going to please everybody, but I think it's doable. But as the young man to my left said so pertinently, this has also got to get through the county chairman as well. That's the other thing.
People forget that there might not be many people here for championship games, but most counties have several thousand people paying several £100s for their county membership for the year. Those are quite often the older end of the market. So you've got a bit of baseline in finance for the counties to deal with before they try and start selling the bells and whistles to the younger generation and the casual supporters for T20. So I don't think the counties can discount their traditional bedrock membership, relatively few in number though those may be. I'm less optimistic than you, Mark, possibly by nature, but I just don't think the whole thing is solvable while you've got the 100 there. And as you say, they're not going to get rid of the 100 for...
It's not going to move. It's
3-4 years.
It's not going anywhere. It's not. I'll say this, but the 100 is not going anywhere. Now that is taking up that block, and it's not going anywhere. So you've then got to work with everything else around the 100, whether you like it or not. That is what's happening. So then you've got to work it around. Now I'm actually, with the 50 over comp, I'm not actually adverse to playing it at the front end of the season. Because my other reason with that as well is if there is a bit of rain about with a 50 over game, you can get it done and dusted and get it in. And the other thing with that is you still want to be playing 50 over cricket, because unless I miss something, we're still the reigning champions of 50 over cricket in the world.
Well, that's the other factor that complicates next year's schedule.
You've got a World Cup, so they want to be playing some 50 over cricket. So, as I say, I think the one thing, the only thing I can guarantee is that the 100 isn't going anywhere, and it will be there. Where it is now, it's in that prime position, it's in that prime location, it's school holidays, sun shining, kids inside, it'll get loads of marketing behind it. That's the way it goes.
That's the factor, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The marketing. And as someone who's on record of being a sceptic of the 100, I just wish that those tens of millions of pounds had been spent on promoting what we had already in the T20 Plus. Have a first and second division if you want to put a bit more jeopardy into it, check in a few extra overseas stars, maybe centrally contracted and subject to an auction if you want to put a bit of that glitz on it. But if they'd spent those tens of millions on marketing the T20 Blast with 18 counties, then I think the game would financially and fixture-wise be in a much better position.
I think it's interesting with it being the 20th season of it as well. So 2003, first summer of it, and it was a huge success. And sort of it was the ECB's product. It was, this word product is used all the time now, but it was the ECB's product. Now, whichever way you want to look at it, the ECB sat on it, and then suddenly there's a World Cup in 2007, India go win it, and suddenly think to themselves, hang on, this works, we're going after this. England then went off to Stanford for 3 weeks, and I've said this before, I covered that. It was the weirdest 3 weeks ever. But then you've lost your product. At that point it was gone, and at that point you weren't putting it back, because IPL pumped money into it, made it the biggest competition in the world. Suddenly the England players want to play in the IPL, and look, I know Kevin Peterson cuts people either way really, but a lot of what he says about international cricket and batting makes a huge amount of sense. And he was warning everybody. When he was kicking up his heels, he was saying, I'll be the first, everybody else will want to be playing in this, because this is the best competition in the world. So the way I always saw it was, how do you get control back? How do you get control back? The way you get control back is not a competition that is already going on. You come up with your brand new product, and that's yours then. Now, personally, no other country in the world's ever going to play 100-ball cricket. It's not going to happen. I can't believe that Lalit Modi or whoever it is these days who's in charge of IPL stuff is sitting there going, I'll tell you what we'll do now. Let's not play 20 over cricket anymore. We'll go 100 balls. but they've got their product now, and that's what they're putting. They're putting everything into that product. 2020 works. Everything was in place, but the problem is they've lost control of the product, and they've got control. The ECB have control of the 100, and I just can't see it moving. It's there. It's staying whether you like it or not for whatever reason. It's there. It'll be in that schedule when they sit round the table and come up with the new schedule. It'll still be there, and it'll still be at the prime time of the summer.
I should imagine in the TV right deal that they signed for
Exactly.
it, I'd assume that would be
Several years.
stipulation that it needs to be within this date.
Absolutely.
And as we all know, sport's propped up by that TV rights package. I'm sat here as being a benefit of that. It's the sole reason potentially that we can play as professionals. It literally props up the game from head to toe. But as you said, I think it's relatively unsolvable. Unfortunately, I think the only way forward is you're going to have to designate something that has slightly less importance for a few weeks. It's been the 50 over competition for the last couple of years. Whether that then changes next year and you play 2 rounds of championship cricket, maybe below the 100 with slightly weakened sides, then that's another thing to consider. It doesn't feel like there's an option other than extending the season, which in the UK we don't have the luxury of.
I think what could have been done slightly better this season, and there may be reasons why this wasn't possible, but at the moment you're playing a block of 6 for Glamorgan T20. Obviously it might be slightly different one either way for the counties. Then you're playing a championship, then you're playing some more T20, then you're playing another championship, then you're playing your last couple of T20s. I'm not sure why that block of T20s wasn't all in one. Then you play 4 championship matches in 4 weeks in the middle of the summer.
Well, and the other thing is, I think going back to 2003, and it's like with anything, if something works, it's very, very tempting to, it's working, we'll make more of it. And the first couple of years of T20 from memory was 2 weeks, and we were done.
Yeah, it was, I think, 5 group games.
Yeah,
there were
absolutely.
3 conferences of 6, and you played the other
High
sides
summer,
once a bit
done, gone. But it worked, and it's like with anything, it's very, very tempting if something worked. And you think of the amount of T20 cricket now, 40 group games, and so I think that's another reason as well now.
I certainly think that's quite a likely route the 50 over competition is going to follow. I think it's going to be broken up to smaller groups with a longer knockout stage. That seems to make sense. Whether we went to the 3 divisions that were floated in lockdown, that then leaves you 5 games each into quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. That seems to be a reasonable amount of time.
The funny thing was, the irony being, I absolutely love the 50 over competition.
Yeah, and
last year. Obviously, Glamorgan won't go win it, and also the cricket was great, and it was some names that you weren't seeing possibly elsewhere in the season were getting an opportunity. So
it was
news
excellent. Here, Mark.
Delay.
They're now due to restart at 4:35, and we're told that no overs have been lost. So I'm not quite sure how they've worked that one, because they seem to have been off an awful long time for no overs to be lost. But that is the situation here at Sophia Gardens, that we have a restart scheduled for 4:35.
Well, the lights are on. You keep going under the lights, I suppose.
That's our football watching time out the window.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you're not back for kick-off now, I can assure you. Fingers crossed it doesn't rain then, because that would be good to get going again.
Well, I'm glad that it's going to be a full game, because we're going to be otherwise a bit of smash and giggle for 3 overs, which wouldn't be entirely fair on either side. So there we are. Well, I think we've probably talked ourselves to a standstill for the time being, on BBC Sport Online and on the Glamorgan and Surrey web streams. But we will be back then with commentary on the rest of this game, hopefully, if the weather stays away. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back just before 4:35. No overs lost at the moment in this game. Surrey posted 160 for 9 in their 20 overs. Glamorgan are 9 without loss after 9 balls. They require a further 152 off 18.3. That's going to be a demanding target. I think Surrey are favourites at the moment, but we'll see what transpires in just under half an hour's time.
That's beautifully struck. No race away. There's a long square as well. As soon as you beat the infield.
Yeah, nice from Rossington. We know he is such a powerful, explosive type of batter, but this was just good timing. And as you say, Daggers, that long square, it can only help speed the ball up.
Huge appeal and given. Successful this time. It's the third time Bottleman's tried to attempt the innovation. The little ramp over the leg side. It was unsuccessful twice. And the third time, Hogan strikes.
Square of the wicket, really, going over onto the offside. The first one that we saw, we thought, was just contact outside the line. This one, Alex Wharf thinks that's good enough.
Oh, it's high. Perfect opportunity for two. And taken. Easily taken in the deep. It's Nisa with the safe hands. And it's Hogan's second wicket. His excellent T20 season continues.
Made the move from Northants, looking to clear the long boundary, the square leg boundary. Comfortable catch.
Shouts of catch it should be, and is. Easily done. Such a tame dismissal. Maybe a little bit of extra bounce off the surface. It was caught high on Pepper's bat. Safely pouched by Dan Douthwaite at mid-on.
3 wickets in the power play. And Pepper, we saw it the ball before. He was keen to try and target that leg side boundary straight.
Runs in first class.
Short this time, too short and dealt with. We haven't seen too many really short deliveries. It just holds up. It might have been a slow ball. We'll have to look again.
So he can access that shorter ball. Look how that left leg just opens up. That is his strength. Look. And that little flick through the leg side. He's very good at it. 6 and a 4. And a good over in the end for Essex. 12 runs from it. 29 for 3.
Just the length. A bit too short, then overcompensated and a little too full. Helped on its way, goes very quickly. That will go for 4. That is the what we were talking about earlier. So short, straight, just using the pace nicely.
Just shown how big the boundaries are square. Once you get it straight.
Gone a long way. Gone up a long way, gone a long way. They've just been building the partnership. Now it's time to go. Critchley goes again. He looks a good player tonight.
He's coming down. I won't give it away. It's not fair. Teams are listening. And something just gives it away that he's coming at you. But he's a good timer of the ball. When I say straight down the ground.
Oh, Salt.
Well, he'll feel he missed out there. Oh, he still gets a boundary. I think he was thinking 6, but he gets 4. He'll take that.
Oh, it goes big down the ground. That goes all the way. And that's what we've been talking about. The straight boundaries here are very, very short. It's an excellent shot.
He decided. And he knows as well, he says.
Slightly wider this time. Just wonder if that's wrong-footed. Short third there. Whether they were slow to react. Either way, though.
The width was on offer, but the length as well.
Edge taken. That's a good catch. As well as a thick outside edge. As we were just talking, this partnership was good for Essex, but it's just been broken.
Dan Douthwaite coming round the wicket to the left-hander, just opening the body a little bit with the left leg going down the line of leg stump and playing away from him. Very sharp catch behind the sticks.
And the shot's a catch, taken again. No, 2 wickets in quick succession for Glamorgan. They've been very, very good in the field with the ball.
And he's removed both of the players who had that very strong 50-run partnership.
This could be out. He wanted the 2. There was a slight moment of hesitation. You know, Sam's coming back for the second. He's put in the full-length dive from where we were.
Well, I always defer to you, the fielder. But I was with you. Yeah, absolutely. It was a brave, well, stupid second run, to be perfectly honest, because this is the shorter side of the ground towards the pavilion. It was hit firmly. It was going quickly. Nisa was very swift across the turf.
Oh, edge taken. 2-in-2 for Glamorgan. Really, now Essex in a lot of bother.
Good delivery, decent length, bit of tentative. No real foot movement from Harmer, just off at the edge of the bat and taken by Cook.
Has he got enough off this? I don't think he has. Should be out, is out. Nijar decided that he wanted to go after Nisa.
They've got a conditions that maybe just doing a little bit with the seam movement, but the lengths have been terrific. And again, they're hitting that hard length and getting rewarded.
Has he got this in the gap? He has. The only poor delivery we've probably seen tonight from Dan Douthwaite is his last one of his spell. 18 overs gone, the 100 is up, 100 for 8 Essex. Michael Nisa into the attack. Does he get enough of it? No. So Allison decided that he was trying to go straight. And it's a simple catch in the end for the experienced Michael Hogan.
And rather ball in hand or in the field in support. And they won't let each other down very often. Simple enough catch.
Still happy just to flick, but he gets it in the gap. So a boundary to start. It's a good way to start. Can they get to 120?
Clip the ball leg side, very strong bottom hand. That's one of his stronger areas. Tom Wesley, and they finish.
Full and wide, Wesley will just get an outside edge and they'll only pick up one. What a performance from Michael Hogan and all the seam bowlers tonight. He finishes his spell, 4 overs, 3 for 21. And Essex get to 113 for 9 off their 20 overs.
Picked up, fielder in the deep, early breakthrough. Not game over yet by any means. Early wickets essential, early wickets got. Skipper goes.
And this is a great start. Daniel Sams down the leg side, flick off the legs. Nice, simple catch as well.
That slip in place now. Little over pitch, what a shot. Yeah, what a shot. Thumbs up from Michael Nisa, who's going, yeah, more of that please, because that'll just calm down the dugout.
Spoken about anything slightly over pitched, be punished here at Sophia Gardens.
Lovely shot, lovely shot. Talking about Marnus Labuschagne, but Sam Northeast there just finding the gap.
Surpassed what Essex were on in their power play right at the end of it. They were 17 for 3, so going along nicely.
It goes back of the hand as well. So it's handy to have at least 2 slower balls.
Finds the gap, goes quickly for 4. Just a variation, I think it was intentional, just trying to mix up the length. Sam Northeast looks a good touch, 18 from 14.
Get it that far in front of square. Sam Northeast played very still, pivoted on that back foot.
Down.
Beautifully played and good piece of timing, and to add insult to injury, Paul Walter slips and goes through to the boundary.
Yeah, it should have been stopped.
Bowling hard, great watching.
All mix up, should be out. Close. Does he get back? Labuschagne, I think this is close.
Absolutely, you wonder why these players are so good.
Catch it, catch it.
Shouts of catch. They were interested for a while, but it's just evaded the fielder.
Yeah, both sides just using their resources slightly differently. Think of Nisa and Hogan, Douthwaite, Wheel.
That's a very, very good shot down the ground. That's the biggest one of the evening so far from Sam Northeast. Straight, yes, it's short, but that has gone a long, long way.
But he's played enough to know that that is an excellent option here. Good use of the feet, and it is short, straight, and he knew straight away. 33 years of age.
Catch it.
Well, this has gone a long, long way as well. And now Kieran Carson is in on the action.
Kieran Carlson. He hasn't quite found his touch yet. That's about the best of it so far. His fluency hasn't quite been there. I think he's one to just look out for.
Oh, straight through. And Essex have got the breakthrough they've been looking for. And it's Critchley, first wicket for him this evening. Much, much needed for Essex.
His most likely wicket takers. I'm surprised he took him out earlier. And this time he's brought him back in. Good work from behind the stumps.
Yeah! Holden played on, bottom edge. Najjar strikes. The dangerous northeast, who's played so nicely, a runnable 44, has to depart. Probably a little too late for Essex.
Bottom edge, drags it on, tries to stay leg side and cut it away. Disappointment for northeast. A wicket here. Will he look to be aggressive? Hit him over mid-off, mid-on. Exactly. Fields up. The gamble was on. Why not? Release the pressure. Maximum.
Question was answered in imperious fashion.
Catch it, catch it, catch it.
Goes again, not as cleanly struck this time. But I think the job has pretty much been done. The 100 has been brought up, 4 overs remain, 100 for 4.
Whether it's that hamstring, but he's just decided to tee off. You can see that right hamstring.
Have some of that. That's gone a long way. Longest part of the ground as well. Diagonally here at Sophia Gardens. Cook getting in on the act.
Deep in his crease, baseball style. Smashed.
What a strike that is. Slow ball from Sams. Cannoning into the side screen.
Fields up, slower ball in the slot. Short boundary.
No ball. And that is done. Done by a no ball. Way over the batsman's head. A tame way to finish the game, but Glamorgan don't care. Victory for them, 6 wickets, the margin. They get back to winning ways.
Welcome back to Sophia Gardens, where we were due to be resuming commentary around now for this T20 Blast match between Glamorgan and Surrey. Glamorgan had reached 9 without loss off 9 balls, chasing 161 to beat Surrey after some hard hitting by Jamie Overton. 48 off just 21 deliveries got Surrey up to a formidable looking total. But we were due to be seeing the covers coming off and play starting around now. There are still a few players hanging around on the balconies, but the news is that the drizzle has resumed, and so they're putting the sheets back on again. Mark Church and Aneurin Donald with me. This is all very frustrating, gents.
Very much so, yeah.
We got quite close there, didn't we? Close but no cigar. Unfortunately, the rain started coming down and the full cover's going back out.
But the major issue as well there is that for the ground staff, they've worked so hard to get all those covers off. Now having to put them all back on. Surrey were actually out there having a bit of a warm-up. So the Surrey players were out there having a bit of a warm-up, the bowlers, and that rain started again, and we start losing overs now. We hadn't lost any overs, but we now start losing overs. So we're going to have a Duckworth-Lewis game. If we do get back out there, it's going to be revised targets and all that good stuff off certain numbers of overs. So, yeah, just really for all the supporters that are in the ground, really frustrating because they've all hung around and now it started raining again.
Yeah, it seems the rough math, I think, here is we need another 3.5 overs to get a game in. So maybe 15 minutes, so we need to be back out by 5:30. So there's not too much time to play with here, especially with the full covers going back out. The mop-up operation will take a few minutes into that as well. So I don't think we've got much time to play with here, unfortunately.
Just to say as well, we've been busy in the box, haven't we?
We have.
So there's been a number of people that have wandered in. So
we have been doing some work.
We have been, but the talk of the other Donald's 28 yesterday, which we've been talked through. Well, I feel like I was there for it now, to be honest with you. But we're just told by the great man Lewis as well that I think chasing down 390.
Yeah, Malpas beat Radder.
Lewis was 50.
No, it was in a separate game. That he got 50.
Oh no, that wasn't that game. So Lewis got 50 in a separate game.
Yeah, but his
and the other Donald. Forget this one. He scores first-class runs for fun and might win the championship this year. The big news is the other Donald, as I say, I feel like I've seen the entire innings now, at least 5 times in my head. 28. Yeah, yesterday as well. So the Glamorgan legends that keep the streams going and keep the players happy. The good news is they're scoring runs
Lewis
as well.
Morgan in the runs for Malpas yesterday, and they chased down 390 to beat Ra. I was amazed there were league games on Thursday, actually. Apparently, in their rarefied level, they have to play an extra game somewhere or other. So, bank holiday Thursday.
We're worrying about the first class schedule.
Absolutely. And I was freezing me what's-its off on a Parks pitch 200 yards away.
Keeping wicket as well, Nick Webb, again.
It was decidedly unpleasant when we began, especially since we didn't have changing rooms.
That's not good.
That's brutal. No teas either?
You get money no teas, no changing rooms.
I'm not exactly sure why you give up your Saturdays if you're not getting fed at half time.
I did the scorebook because I'm one of the few that can write in the side. Only joking, if any of my teammates are listening. Did the scorebook for about 35 overs before I was called upon to bat, and then failed to trouble the bloke who's taken over the scoring. There we are.
I'm glad we're catching up on the local cricket scores.
Absolutely.
Doing our bit for actually, on that note, I've just had a tweet from Gosignan Cricket Club, who my brother plays for. I think a young Jake Mann had a hat trick in the second team yesterday, his first of many. So there's my last shout out of the evening. I'll start plugging some of my sponsors after this.
If the rain continues, we could get the other Donald in here, couldn't we, on the camera, and he could reenact his entire 28 for everybody.
Yeah, maybe. Or just give him the headset. You can chat for the next 3 or 4 hours.
Absolutely.
If you like.
It's a shame we haven't got enough room in here for a full bit of a throwdown.
Yes, and then we I think that might be taking it a bit too far.
On the club camera.
It's one way of losing all your viewers.
BBC Sport Online and on the Glamorgan website. Glamorgan 9 for naught. They were chasing 161 to beat Surrey. But I'm afraid that the full length of the sheets, the tarpaulins, are out either side of of the hover cover at the moment, and this is going to take a while to get off. So realistically, we've probably got about half an hour still to play with before the umpires have to make a call, I think, and few people out on the dressing room balconies at the moment. That looks like Colin Ingram there in playing kit. Is that Colin Ingram?
Yeah, we got Colin.
Roger
the
legendary dressing room attendant is pictured on the video stream at the moment.
He is one of the nicest men in cricket.
Absolutely.
Oh, unbelievable. I remember him saving my life here years ago for a B&H semi-final where it was packed and the press box was packed. Surrey Glamorgan, and where the old commentary box used to be in press box down in that right-hand corner as we sit at this Cathedral Road, I had to run a very long ISDN lead all the way past where the old pavilion was, where the grandstand is, and all the way round to here, just underneath us, with one little bit of concrete.
Wow.
And that was my commentary position, and he helped me take the ISDN lead the whole way round, and we got it all sorted, and then it rained. And it rained for the rest of the day.
A very good afternoon to our distinguished visitors to the box, David Morgan and Alan Jones, two legends of Glamorgan on and off the field. So nice to see them dropping in. And Irene's going to popped off to say hello to them. 9 for noughts, chasing 161 are Glamorgan. I think
the other
Glamorgan might be slightly the more relieved if they don't play, because Surrey are favourites unless they play a shortened game.
If it's a 5-over game, Glamorgan become the favourites. But the only thing with that as well is you have to give the players an opportunity to get a little bit of a warm-up in and get ready to go. So that'll have to be factored in as well. So what have we had? 1.3. So we've got 3.3 to go to get a game of cricket in. But now the rain's coming down, all the covers are back on. I hate to say this, but I'm not sure we are going to get much more cricket today, because it looks set in, and the forecast was when it started it wasn't going to stop for quite some time.
Let's have a brief canter through the scoreboards. If you've put the test match on record and you don't want to know the result, then cover your ears for the next 10 seconds. England beat New Zealand by 5 wickets with Joe Root getting 115 not out. Ben Stokes 32 not out. They got the 60 yards needed today with no further loss. At Chester Le Street, Durham made 154 for 8 in their 20 overs. Top scorer there was Graham Clark with 44. Pleased to hear the trumpeters still in the ground. Northants in reply, 85 for 2 after 11, so needing 70 off 9. Chris Lynn is 47 not out. You would have thought that Northants would be slight favourites there. Birmingham against Notts Outlaws. They haven't played yet because of rain in Birmingham. Worcestershire against Leicestershire at New Road. Looks as though they're having a normal game there. Leicestershire made 162 for 6 in their 20 overs. Top scorer there was Rishi Patel with 37. In reply, Worcestershire 84 for 4 after 10. So that looks like a decent game. Worcestershire needs 79 off the second half of their innings. And the only other great game in the South Group here, Kent Spitfires against Middlesex. Kent made 192 for 8, with Joe Denley hitting 110 off 58 deliveries, including 6 sixes. There are 3 wickets each for Martin Anderson and for Chris Green for Middlesex. Middlesex in reply, they're struggling. 64 for 4 at halfway. So that looks very much like Kent's game in the other Southern Group game. And in the Charlotte Edwards Cup today, South East Stars. This is your lot, Church.
Big game this for the South East Stars.
183 for 9, 50 for Bryony Smith, the captain, was the top scorer there. Sunrisers in reply. They're struggling. This is good news for your guys or gals. Sunrisers 68 for 5 in the 10th over, so it looks like that will be a victory for the Stars.
And I think that, well, they were there or thereabouts anyway, but that will qualify them for finals day. A week today at Wantage Road. So the Vipers had already qualified, and it looked as if it was going to be probably Central Sparks and South East Stars for finals day. And
yeah, I believe Sparks went through despite losing to Western Storm yesterday. So Western Storm, the side that
it's quite a good way of doing it, actually, because Vipers are straight into the final, and then it will be the Sparks against South East Stars for a place in the final
so
against the Vipers.
Being the best team in there.
Absolutely, in both groups. Yeah,
nice touch.
Yeah, really good.
Come on, the
really,
Vipers.
really good.
They play many of their games at
we had a double header the other day. I don't think it quite made the TV because the test match was on, but they played before us.
Good side, Vipers.
Very good. So I said Lottie's got a good thing going on there.
Yeah.
It's especially nice when you win your own competition every year.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like it's an interesting year for women's cricket next year. I believe they're changing the contract structure, so I think there's going to be a bit more poaching going on. So I think there might be
and I have to say,
some of them targeted for other teams.
I think I'm in my 6th season now, and it just gets better and better and better. It really does. And I was down at Guildford a couple of weeks ago in Beckenham, good crowds in, some great cricket on show. And as I say, that this is the 20 over comp. Still got the 50 over comp to come, the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. But it'd be if you're free and you're in the Northampton area next Sunday, get to Wantage Road, because that'll be a terrific day, finals day.
Yeah, it's good to see women's cricket getting more exposure, and I think obviously people have very varied opinions on the 100, but I think we can honestly say it's done. Its impact on the women's game is more definitely positive, if you like.
Absolutely,
huge.
It's a game changer for the ladies' game.
Absolutely.
I think in terms of, I know they're starting to offer out full contracts, aren't they, this year? So each county, I think we have 6 or 7 fully contracted ladies now, and then obviously with the 100 coming in, that's that's providing a lifeline for either people on the edge or really topping up to a decent salary now.
My little one's playing now as well, and that's all because of seeing it on the 100. Without that, so I'm just trying to sneak her into a good Welsh club at the moment. I'm thinking St Fagans. I'm thinking St Fagans for
classic,
her.
that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they're one of the big shots of South Wales, St Fagans. It's not a name that will be known to listeners in the Surrey.
It will be once Isabel's taking 60 wickets to the first team by the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean. Matthew Maynard, the Glamorgan coach, has links with they stage the Tom Maynard Trust game every year, and there are links between Glamorgan and St Fagans, as there are with the South Wales, most of the South Wales Premier clubs.
I have naughtily bought her an England one day cap to wear at training as well. Just
England and Wales.
Was that a red one though?
It changes every week, doesn't it? It really does. But it's red now. England and Wales.
Yeah.
England. I'm saying she covers both.
Exactly.
Covers both. But she's got a choice now.
Yeah.
It's good.
I tell you what, that the New England kit. Who on earth designed it?
Their training kit is magnificent.
It is nice. I do like the training kit.
Fantastic.
It is very nice.
You're a fan,
simple.
Which one's
simple.
that?
It's like a
light grey
blue.
Some sort of eggshell colour blue, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's
light
insipid.
blue and grey.
No, it's insipid. It's nowhere.
I was saying though, I hope with the new one day shirt that they've checked it on telly, because it might look like there's interference on the TV because of the little zigzags on the shirt as well. But no, I'm thinking for my Isabel, she gets the choice of both now. She's got her England cap and then a Wales cap, then fantastic.
That's all right then. Well, I'm afraid we haven't got anything positive to tell you about the state of this particular game, because the ground staff are wandering off towards their hut to put the kettle on. You get the feeling that unless something remarkable happens and scorching sunshine breaks out over Sophia Gardens, which is unlikely with 100% cloud cover at the moment, then this game is heading for 1 point apiece.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I don't think we've got much longer left before they call it a day here. I said by the time the ground staff get the clearing up operation and go, I think you're looking at a relatively long time. So they're starting to wander across, and as you said, just about settling down in time for the football by the looks.
There we are. We'll give it another break then here on BBC Sport Online and on the Glamorgan stream, and we'll be back with further news as and when there is any here from Sophia Gardens. From Mark and Ira and myself, goodbye for the time being.
It's a great pickup, and that will go all the way. First 6 of the day, just slightly drifting down the leg side, Rushworth. Well, that's aerial, that should be taken, and it is. That's the end of Rutherford. Just looking to increase that intensity, up the run rate. Straight down to that fielder at fine leg. Oh, not a bad start.
On the charge, Nick. Oh, what a catch! Callum Bancroft! Yeah! What a wonderful grab! Ben Rain induces the outside edge. Rheingold was on the charge. Took a shuffle down as a healthy Nick. It's a brilliant catch.
Lovely shot, super shot. He's a good player. He's more than a good player. He's worth watching as well. Good entertainment when Carlson gets going.
But he's gone big again, and that is huge from Carlson. Excellent use of the feet, and the maximum for him. That's aerial. I think that's going to go all the way. It has, and that's his 50. Aaron Carlson has played brilliantly. Poor bit of fielding in the crowd. Goes again, he hasn't got all of it at all. This should be simple, and it is. Lees with the catch. Oh, an early shout. This looks close, and it's given. First ball for Billy Root. Matty Potts again with the wicket.
Oh, big appeal, yes, gone! Commentator's curse. Carlson's nicked one through. It's an absolute seed from Matthew Potts, who's picked up his 3rd.
Heaved away leg side. It's the one area of the ground that a lot of batsmen like to target. It's a little shorter there, almost a pickup. Heaved away. And taken. Boy, did they need that. They're in complete control. Cook, hero of the semi-final, was looking for the boundary yet again. And a partnership that was just developing. Heaved away leg side. Go and fetch that from the crowd. Again, even if the boundaries were put out a little further, that still probably would have been 6. Goes up a long way. Bowler says, it's mine. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Never easy running back over your shoulder. He said it's mine. It was always going to be his. There was no chance for mid-wicket or long on to come in.
Slower ball into the pitch, straight up, straight down, in the gloves of Cameron Bancroft. And that is not what Glamorgan wanted at this stage. Well, it sounds like he's got all of that, and I think he has. Yeah, that'll bring up a maximum, a much needed one as well for Glamorgan. Well, this could be out, or it could be 6. That's a brilliant catch on the boundary. It looked as if it could have cleared the ropes. I think Clark out there on the boundary has judged that so well. Oh, that's been called a no ball already, and it has gone for the maximum as well. So this is a brilliant outcome for Glamorgan. It will come through for a single. It's gone through to the keeper. That's smart work.
In hand. Well, Michael Hogan is never that far away from that line. I think Alex Judah, he'll probably do a fairly similar.
Yeah! Oh, bowled into the attack, Andrew Salter, and he has got the breakthrough that Glamorgan desperately wanted. That's the end of Lee's.
Catch it, catch it, catch it! Yeah!
Simple catch. Simple catch, pressure building. And a massive wicket, leading run scorer in the competition. He was setting himself up again today. Chipped, simple as you like, slow ball. They are not out of this by any means, Glamorgan. Maybe they'll feel they could have had 20 more, but they are fighting hard and they're very much in the contest now.
Catch!
should be taken. Yes! Key moment again. Bellingham. And Carlson has got it absolutely spot on. He's stuck with Salter. Salter's delivered. Glamorgan all over Durham at the moment.
Oh yeah, just one.
That's Bancroft, 50, brilliant from him. Really played an anchor role.
Yeah!
So looks to go again this time. They're going to have a look just to make sure.
Yeah.
Confirmation, not out.
Come on in, come on in. Catch it!
He's gone aerial, is in the air, it should be out, and it is taken comfortably. This was not the time Durham needed to lose a wicket. Brilliant work from Glamorgan.
Yeah, 49. He's averaged 49 in the tournament, so it's been a good one for him. Make that 50. Good hand. There's still a long way to go for Sean Dixon and Durham, but he's still in there fighting. Bangs it in, deep square. In the end, it goes straight up, and mid-off will take a simple catch. They have been simply brilliant, Glamorgan. They really have. They've outthought Durham, and Ben Rain trying to aim something pretty vicious leg side. 23 fours. There you go. There you go, right on cue. Let's get that little lad back on so he can raise his little bit of paper there with a 6 on. Right on cue.
Goes up in the air, straight up. Captain himself underneath, steadies himself. Yes, what a wonderful catch. A pressure moment for the captain, and look at the smile on the face of Kieran Carlson. Pressure does funny things at times. That's a huge wicket for Glamorgan. Nick gone, leaping salmon. Tom Cullen behind the sticks. Glamorgan on top.
Well, they're on a roll, aren't they? Glamorgan. Delight. The fielders rushing in.
Last ball over. Needs to close this over out. In the air. There is extra protection. Just dropped the man back. Caught. Safe as house is Selman in the deep. For a moment I thought there might be a collision between Selman and the captain, but Selman said, it's mine. Safely pouched in the deep. Nick, gone! That's the moment! Michael Hogan, you absolute beauty, the veteran, 40 years of age. What a better way for Glamorgan to seal their first trophy.
If you want to watch the Wales football game against Ukraine, it's on in the Lewis Lounge.
So the news from Sophia Gardens, as you may have heard over the public address system, is that the umpires have finally called it a day, with the rain intensifying here in Cardiff and no prospect of a resumption in time to get the minimum overs in before the 5:45 cut-off point. Glamorgan 9 for no wicket in reply to Surrey's 160 for 9 in their 20 overs. Jamie Overton, the big hitting star of the day for Surrey, 48 off 21 balls, 2 wickets apiece for Marnus Labuschagne and for Michael Neser for Glamorgan. So it is 1 point apiece here in Cardiff. Thank you very much indeed for following us. Thank you to Aneurin Donald, the Hampshire and former Glamorgan batter, and to Mark Church of BBC Radio London for their company this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the play that we did have, and now you can enjoy Wales World Cup football. It's on BBC Radio Wales.